Eh? Muhoz. General. Like they call you. Because you are. Respect yourself. Respect your statements. Respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie. N'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere musazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati musazeeko ebirevu now so what? Eh? Muhoz. General. Like they call you. Because you are. Respect yourself. Respect your statements. Respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie. N'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere musazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati musazeeko ebirevu now so what? Eh? Muhoz. General. Like they call you. Because you are. Respect yourself. Respect your statements. Respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie. N'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere musazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati musazeeko ebirevu now so what? Eh? Muhoz. General. Like they call you. Because you are. Respect yourself. Respect your statements. Respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie. N'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere musazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati musazeeko ebirevu now so what? Eh? Muhoz. General. Like they call you. Because you are. Respect yourself. Respect your statements. Respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie. N'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere musazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati musazeeko ebirevu now so what? Eh? Muhoz. General. Like they call you. Because you are. Respect yourself. Respect your statements. Respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie. N'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere musazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati musazeeko ebirevu now so what? Eh? Muhoz. General. Like they call you. Because you are. Respect yourself. Respect your statements. Respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie. N'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere musazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati musazeeko ebirevu now so what? Eh? Muhoz. General. Like they call you. Because you are. Respect yourself. Respect your statements. Respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie. N'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere musazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati musazeeko ebirevu now so what? Eh? Muhoz. General. Like they call you. Because you are. Respect yourself. Respect your statements. Respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie. N'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere musazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati musazeeko ebirevu now so what? Eh? Muhoz. General. Like they call you. Because you are. Respect yourself. Respect your statements. Respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie. N'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere musazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati musazeeko ebirevu now so what? Eh? Muhoz. General. Like they call you. Because you are. Respect yourself. Respect your statements. Respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie. N'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere musazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati musazeeko ebirevu now so what? Eh? Muhoz. General. Like they call you. Because you are. Respect yourself. Respect your statements. Respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie. n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready kati akumusazeeko ebirevu now so what muhozi general like they call you because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready kati akumusazeeko ebirevu now so what
nti atatya musajja munne tawangaala gwakitegedde gamba nti amiina.
N'obuuza Yoweri Museveni nti ekyakutwala mu nsiko okutta abantu kyali kiki? Talina nsa gyakuwa.
Uganda ejjuddemu abeewulira ebyanyi bawamba abantu ate ne bakyewaaniramu. Omuganda n'agamba nti atatya musajja munne tawangaala gwakitegedde gamba nti amiina.
N'obuuza Yoweri Museveni nti ekyakutwala mu nsiko okutta abantu kyali kiki? Talina nsa gyakuwa.
Uganda ejjuddemu abeewulira ebyanyi bawamba abantu ate ne bakyewaaniramu. Omuganda n'agamba nti atatya musajja munne tawangaala gwakitegedde gamba nti amiina.
N'obuuza Yoweri Museveni nti ekyakutwala mu nsiko okutta abantu kyali kiki? Talina nsa gyakuwa.
Uganda ejjuddemu abeewulira ebyanyi bawamba abantu ate ne bakyewaaniramu. Omuganda n'agamba nti atatya musajja munne tawangaala gwakitegedde gamba nti amiina.
N'obuuza Yoweri Museveni nti ekyakutwala mu nsiko okutta abantu kyali kiki? Talina nsa gyakuwa.
Uganda ejjuddemu abeewulira ebyanyi bawamba abantu ate ne bakyewaaniramu. Omuganda n'agamba nti atatya musajja munne tawangaala gwakitegedde gamba nti amiina.
N'obuuza Yoweri Museveni nti ekyakutwala mu nsiko okutta abantu kyali kiki? Talina nsa gyakuwa.
Uganda ejjuddemu abeewulira ebyanyi bawamba abantu ate ne bakyewaaniramu.
And then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct.
Uganda ejjuddemu abeewulira ebyanyi bawamba abantu ate ne bakyewaaniramu. Omuganda n'agamba nti atatya musajja munne tawangaala, gwakitegedde gamba nti amiina.
N'obuuza Yoweri Museveni nti ekyakutwala mu nsiko okutta abantu kyali kiki? Talina nsa gyakuwa.
Uganda ejjuddemu abeewulira ebyanyi bawamba abantu ate ne bakyewaaniramu. Omuganda n'agamba nti atatya musajja munne tawangaala, gwakitegedde gamba nti amiina.
N'obuuza Yoweri Museveni nti ekyakutwala mu nsiko okutta abantu kyali kiki? Talina nsa gyakuwa.
Uganda ejjuddemu abeewulira ebyanyi bawamba abantu ate ne bakyewaaniramu.
Because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati akumusazeeko ebirevu now so what? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati akumusazeeko ebirevu now so what? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati akumusazeeko ebirevu now so what? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Now so what? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko
You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that
now, so what? Eh? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, no muteka mu kifaananyi ali bwerere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati omusazeeko ebirevu now, so what? Eh? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, no muteka mu kifaananyi ali bwerere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati omusazeeko ebirevu now, so what? Eh? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, no muteka mu kifaananyi ali bwerere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati omusazeeko ebirevu now, so what? Eh?
Mukama mulungi obudde bwonna. Mukama wange Father, ndi musanyufu bya nsuso ng'ate ekinnyongedde ennyo essanyu kwe kulaba abato n'abavubuka abangi wano. Mbeebaza nnyo buli kaseera okubanga abato n'abavubuka mubasembeza ne babeera wano mu nnyaffe ekereziya ne bayiga empisa ennungi, ne bayiga okusinza, okutya Katonda, okumwesiga n'okumwesigamira buli kaseera, kubanga y'oyo yekka yatusobozesa okubanga tukola ebyo bye twagala. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Era Mukama wange nkusaba onzikirize neebaze n'ekkwaya yaffe olw'emirimu egyo emirungi. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Mbeebaza olw'obuwagizi n'akalulu ke mwatuwa bannange. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala bamikwano. Era nsaba munzikirize nnyongere okuggumiza nga mbakakasa nti obuwagizi bwammwe n'akalulu kammwe tekagenda kufa ttogge. Mwalonda abantu abatuufu. Naye munnange Father nzikirize era nkuloopere Mukama wange. Ekibiina kye mwalonda eky'NUP ne bammemba baakyo nga bali mu bugubi obutagambika. Olumu abafuga kuno batulumba, ennaku ezo batulumbye nga tugenda kunyumyamu n'okwekwasa omutonzi waffe abeere ng'atutaasa olw'ebizibu ebinene bye tuyitamu. Abantu baffe batwalibwa ne babuzibwawo, kyokka tebatwalibwa mu kkooti. Tuba tulowooza nti babatutte olw'okuba balina emisango, ne tulinda babaleete mu kkooti nga tebalabika, ne batulugunyizibwa. Ate mutabani wa mukulu Museveni mu nsangi zino yagambye nti yayina Edi Mutwe, nti amulina wansi eyo mu basement ewuwe gye yamusibira, gy'amutulugunyiza. Bannange Father nsaba n'Abakristu mwenna tusabire eggwanga lyaffe, tusabireko ku General Museveni ne mutabani we Muhoozi n'abalala abalowooza nti engeri gye batukwatamu y'entuufu. Katonda abeere ng'abalambika, abateekeko omukono ogw'ekisa, bakole ebituufu ebisaanidde, balekeraawo okukijjanya abantu b'ensi eno. Bakole ebirungi ku lw'abo abalijja abaana baffe n'abazzukulu baffe, ku lw'ensi yaffe ebeere ennungi. Bannange tuyaayaana Katonda atuyambe obukulembeze obulungi, eddembe ly'obuntu, enfuga ennungi ejje mu nsi yaffe. Bannange tuyaayaane nga tusaba Katonda kuba ye musobozi yekka, abakyusa abantu abo, abawa omutima ogw'ekisa, ate naffe twagale ensi yaffe tukole ebirungi. Abato abali wano Mukama mulungi obudde bwonna. Mukama wange Father, ndi musanyufu bya nsuso, ng'ate ekinnyongedde nnyo essanyu kwe kulaba abato n'abavubuka abangi wano. Mbeebaza nnyo buli kaseera okubanga abato n'abavubuka mubasembeza ne babeera wano mu nnyaffe ekereziya, ne bayiga empisa ennungi, ne bayiga okusinza, okutya Katonda, okumwesiga n'okumwesigamira buli kaseera, kubanga y'oyo yekka yatusobozesa okubanga tukola ebyo bye twagala. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire.
Ng'ebirume eggwanga kweka kati tuli mu crisis, tunenya Museveni. Nene Museveni bw'aba ebyatukuba waggulu, nammwe eno wansi n'olonda omukulu, n'olonda kansala w'eggombolola gwe tolina ky'omubanja, n'olonda kansala w'omuluka tolina ky'omubanja, n'olonda kansala kukiikira ku district tolina ky'omubanja, n'olonda ssentebe wa district tolina ky'omubanja, n'olonda meeya tolina ky'omubanja, n'olonda omubaka wa parliament. Kakati tugenda okukola gye tugiyita political summation, nga naffe eno tuli mu deficit. Ng'otuuka mu palamenti y'abantu 5 nga naawe mwenyini nga profesa nga bwe bakubuuza ababaka be wali owulidde boogera ku nsonga tebawera na 10. nengo musala bafuna
mbaweza
allowance bafuna
mbaweza abali baweze nkanga
abali bagedde ku nsonga
nkanga mbaweza
ku nsonga
nkanga mbaweza
ku nsonga ate wani wo mu Buganda
wani wange bawerawo nga 15
kuba osobola okujjukira ebigambo president Kyagulanyi kuba meka wanga ng'ebirume eggwanga kweka kati tuli mu crisis tunenya Museveni nene Museveni bw'aba ebyatu bawaggulu namwe eno wansi nolonda sente omukulu nolonda kansala w'eggombolola gwe tolina ky'omubanja nolonda kansala w'omuluka tolina ky'omubanja nolonda kansala kukiikira ku district tolina ky'omubanja nolonda sente wa district tolina ky'omubanja nolonda meya tolina ky'omubanja nolonda omubaka wa parliament kakati tugenda okukola gye tugiyita political summation nga naffe eno tuli mu deficit ng'otuuka mu palamenti y'abantu ebitaano nga naawe mwenyini nga profesa nga bwe bakubuuza ababaka bwe wali owulidde boogera ku nsonga tebawera na 10 naye ng'omusaala bafuna
mbaweza
allowance bafuna
mbaweza abali baweze nkanga
abali bagedde ku nsonga
nkanga mbaweza
ku nsonga
nkanga mbaweza
ku nsonga ate wani wo mu Buganda
wani wange bawerawo nga 15
kuba osobola okujjukira ebigambo president Kyagulanyi kuba meka wanga ng'ebirume eggwanga kweka kati tuli mu crisis tunenya Museveni nene Museveni bw'aba ebyatu bawaggulu namwe eno wansi.
Gaba has caused controversy by saying he abducted the bodyguard of the opposition leader Bobi Wine and has admitted he was being tortured. The National Unity Platform said Eddie Mutwe was kidnapped last week. The BBC's Will Ross has more.
It's no secret that opposing Uganda's governing party can be a risky choice. Rights groups have for decades accused President Yoweri Museveni of using the security forces and the courts to ensure the opposition has no chance at the polls. Now the president's son, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who's the head of the army, has made some extraordinary comments on social media. He admitted capturing opposition leader Bobi Wine's bodyguard, Eddie Mutwe, shaving his head, and said he planned to castrate him.
Our top story. Uganda's military chief Muhoozi Kainerugaba has caused controversy by saying he abducted the bodyguard of the opposition leader Bobi Wine and has admitted he was being tortured. The National Unity Platform said Eddie Mutwe was kidnapped last week. The BBC's Will Ross has more.
It's no secret that opposing Uganda's governing party can be a risky choice. Rights groups have for decades accused President Yoweri Museveni of using the security forces and the courts to ensure the opposition has no chance at the polls. Now the president's son, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who's the head of the army, has made some extraordinary comments on social media. He admitted capturing opposition leader Bobi Wine's bodyguard, Eddie Mutwe, shaving his head, and said he planned to castrate him.
Our top story. Military chief Muhoozi Kainerugaba
gamba nti amina
n'obuuza Yoweri Museveni tekyakutwala mu nsiko okutta abantu kyali kiki talina nsa gyakuwa.
Uganda ejjuddemu abeewulira ebyanyi bawamba abantu ate ne bakyewaaniramu. Omuganda n'agamba nti atatya musajja munne tawangaala gwakitegedde gamba nti amiina.
N'obuuza Yoweri Museveni tekyakutwala mu nsiko okutta abantu kyali kiki talina nsa gyakuwa.
Uganda ejjuddemu abeewulira ebyanyi bawamba abantu ate ne bakyewaaniramu. Omuganda n'agamba nti atatya musajja munne tawangaala gwakitegedde gamba nti amiina.
N'obuuza Yoweri Museveni tekyakutwala mu nsiko okutta abantu kyali kiki talina nsa gyakuwa.
Uganda ejjuddemu abeewulira ebyanyi bawamba abantu ate ne bakyewaaniramu. Omuganda n'agamba nti atatya musajja munne tawangaala gwakitegedde gamba nti amiina.
N'obuuza Yoweri Museveni tekyakutwala mu nsiko okutta abantu kyali kiki talina nsa gyakuwa.
Uganda ejjuddemu abeewulira ebyanyi bawamba abantu ate ne bakyewaaniramu. Omuganda n'agamba nti atatya musajja munne tawangaala, gwakitegedde gamba nti amiina.
N'obuuza Yoweri Museveni nti ekyakutwala mu nsiko okutta abantu kyali kiki? Talina nsa gyakuwa.
Uganda ejjuddemu abeewulira ebyanyi bawamba abantu ate ne bakyewaaniramu. Omuganda n'agamba nti atatya musajja munne tawangaala, gwakitegedde gamba nti amiina.
In fact, abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission okutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission okutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about the person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission okutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission okutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission okutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission okutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission okutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission okutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga.
Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, no muteka muchifana yali welero musazeke ebirevu ready. Kati ako musazeke ebirevu now, so what? Eh? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, no muteka muchifana yali welero musazeke ebirevu ready. Kati ako musazeke ebirevu now, so what? Eh? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, no muteka muchifana yali welero musazeke ebirevu ready. Kati ako musazeke ebirevu now, so what? Eh? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, no muteka muchifana yali welero musazeke ebirevu ready. Kati ako musazeke ebirevu now, so what? Eh? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, no muteka muchifana yali welero musazeke ebirevu ready. Kati ako musazeke ebirevu now, so what? Eh? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, no muteka muchifana yali welero musazeke ebirevu ready. Kati ako musazeke ebirevu now, so what? Eh? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, no muteka muchifana yali welero musazeke ebirevu ready. Kati ako musazeke ebirevu now, so what? Eh? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself.
Kansala we gombolola. Gwe tolina kyo mubanja. Nolonda kansala wo muluka. Tolina kyo mubanja. Nolonda kansala kuchikira ku district tolina kyo mubanja. Nolonda center wa district tolina kyo mubanja. Nolonda mayor tolina kyo mubanja. Nolonda omubaka wa parliament. Kakati tugenda okuleje tugita political summation. Nga naffe no tuli mu deficit. Ngotuka mu parliament y'abantu ebitaano nga nawe mwenyini nga professor nga bwe bakubuuza ababaka be wali olidde boogera ku nsonga tebawera na 10 nengo musala bafuna
mbaweza
allowance bafuna
mbaweza abali baweze nganga
abali bagedde ku nsonga ate wani wova mu Buganda
wani wange bawerawo nga 15
kuba osobola okujjukira ebigambo president Kyagulanyi kubameka wanga n'ebirume eggwanga kweka kati tuli mu crisis tunenya Museveni nene Museveni bw'aba ebyatukuba waggulu namweno wansi nolonda omukulu nolonda kansala w'eggombolola gwe tolina ky'omubanja nolonda kansala w'omuluka tolina ky'omubanja nolonda kansala kukiikira ku district tolina ky'omubanja nolonda ssentebe wa district tolina ky'omubanja nolonda meya tolina ky'omubanja nolonda omubaka wa parliament kakati tugenda okukola tugiyita political summation nga naffe eno tuli mu deficit ng'otuuka mu palamenti y'abantu 5 nga naawe mwenyini nga profesa nga bwe bakubuuza ababaka be wali owulidde boogera ku nsonga tebawera na 10 nengo omusala bafuna
mbaweza
allowance bafuna
mbaweza abali baweze nganga
abali bagedde ku nsonga ate wani wova mu Buganda
wani wange bawerawo nga 15
kuba osobola okujjukira ebigambo president Kyagulanyi kubameka wanga n'ebirume eggwanga kweka kati tuli mu crisis tunenya Museveni nene Museveni bw'aba ebyatukuba waggulu namweno wansi nolonda omukulu nolonda kansala w'eggombolola gwe tolina ky'omubanja nolonda kansala w'omuluka tolina ky'omubanja nolonda kansala kukiikira ku district tolina ky'omubanja nolonda ssentebe wa district tolina ky'omubanja nolonda meya tolina ky'omubanja nolonda omubaka wa parliament kakati tugenda okukola tugiyita political summation nga naffe eno tuli mu deficit ng'otuuka mu palamenti y'abantu 5 nga naawe mwenyini nga profesa nga bwe bakubuuza ababaka be wali owulidde boogera ku nsonga tebawera na 10 nengo omusala bafuna
mbaweza
allowance bafuna
mbaweza abali baweze nganga
abali bagedde ku nsonga ate wani wova mu Buganda
wani wange bawerawo nga 15
kuba osobola okujjukira ebigambo president Kyagulanyi kubameka wanga n'ebirume eggwanga kweka kati tuli mu crisis tunenya Museveni nene Museveni bw'aba ebyatukuba waggulu namweno wansi nolonda kansala gwe tolina ky'omubanja nolonda kansala w'omuluka tolina ky'omubanja nolonda kansala kukiikira ku district tolina ky'omubanja nolonda ssentebe wa district tolina ky'omubanja nolonda meya tolina ky'omubanja nolonda omubaka wa parliament kakati tugenda okukola tugiyita political summation nga naffe eno tuli mu deficit ng'otuuka mu palamenti y'abantu 5 nga naawe mwenyini nga profesa nga bwe bakubuuza ababaka be wali owulidde boogera ku nsonga tebawera na 10 nengo omusala bafuna
mbaweza
allowance bafuna
mbaweza abali baweze nganga
abali bagedde ku nsonga ate wani wova mu Buganda
wani wange bawerawo nga 15
kuba osobola okujjukira ebigambo president Kyagulanyi kubameka wanga n'ebirume eggwanga kweka kati tuli mu
Requesting production to pause the music for now so that we can get the conversation underway. Great. We apologize for the delay, the 9-minute delay. We were having interference on the main host's handle, but we've sorted that out and are now ready to get the conversation going. As announced, this is a space that is being held to discuss a critical issue pertaining to the human rights situation in the country. I have the privilege and singular honor of hosting it alongside Dr. Judith Nalukwago. Before we get the conversation underway, I'd like to lay out the conceptual aspects of the space, tell you about how the space will be held in terms of the program, the time we will allot to the audience to participate, and how we will bring this to a conclusion. Civil liberties and political rights have long been endangered under the nearly 4-decade rule of General Yoweri Museveni in Uganda. This repression has been enabled by a cocktail of tools, including draconian policy and legislative agendas, through captive institutions like parliament, arbitrary administrative decrees, targeted assaults on judicial independence, media freedoms, and the outright use of force against citizens. Specific to this discussion, for which we've developed this note, is the weaponization of law enforcement, state security forces, the intelligence community, and the creation of paramilitary, vigilante, and regime-aligned militias that perpetrate assorted forms of violence, including assault, sexual assault, abduction, unlawful detention, torture, disappearances, and extrajudicial killings. These heinous crimes are often meted out on the population, but most frequently on leaders and members of the opposition political parties, social movements, the press, and individual activists, often with impunity. Suffice to say that whereas violations in past decades were characterized by secrecy and attempts at concealment, the present situation is punctuated by brazen displays of unchecked power and the threat or actual use of violence. Notable in this regard is first son, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who holds the offices of Chief of Defense Forces and Special Presidential Advisor on Special Operations. Two of his top lieutenants, namely Colonel Chris Magezi and Brigadier General Felix Kulaije, have similarly been vocal in the endorsement of this reign of terror. Now to the case of Mr. Edward Sebufu, also known as Eddie Mutwe. Abducted late last month, in April, by a contingent of armed operatives, Edward Sebufu, who leads an NUP National Unity Platform President Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's security detail, adds to the dozens of Ugandans currently detained without trial, many of whom have been locked up for years on end. The focus of this discussion spans both the detention of Sebufu, his bodyguards, his core bodyguards, and the numerous political detainees currently languishing in ungazetted and gazetted detention facilities countrywide relative to the context that has been described above. Finally, this discussion is being held at a time when neighboring countries are wallowing in the throes of creeping militarism, alongside an ongoing spate of reversals in the democratic culture worldwide. To that extent, we Ugandans are in solidarity with fellow East Africans and all people facing tyrannical regimes world over. That's the end of the context. So we now have the honor of sharing with you what the program will look like. We have an opening session where we will hear from leaders of the party, affected families, victims or survivors of torture. Thereafter, we will hear from the head of the leadership of the party, including President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, David Lewis Rubongoya, and lawyers like Benjamin Katana, who will brief us on the situation. We will open the floor for participation from the audience, and the audience will be limited to 1 minute in terms of contribution, so please keep your contribution short. The second half and final part of the program will get back to the panel that we've assembled, and then we will conclude the conversation. At this point, I'd like to introduce my co-host, Dr. Judith Nalukwago, who will pose the first question and the second question, and we will carry on the conversation from there. Judith, over to you. Judith, are you there?
I am.
Okay, great. Over to you, Judith. Judith, all you have to do is unmute yourself and speak. We will hear you. I will confirm when we hear you here.
I have.
Judith, you are muted. If you are speaking, you are muted.
Trying to unmute, but then every time it mute.
Okay. While my colleague Judith resolves that glitch, I will take the liberty to pose the question. Okay, I will take the liberty to pose the question, and then we'll get my colleague Judith back as soon as she sorts out that issue. Production, people in the background, please help us sort out the glitch with Judith. The question, and this is to the leadership of the party, and we will have other responses from other participants in terms of those who have been affected by torture, directly affected by torture, detention, abduction, or disappearances, is, from your perspective, what is the state of human rights in the country at the moment? From your perspective, what is the state of human rights in the country at the moment? If the president is here, or David Lewis Rubongoya, or Benjamin Katana, please take on the question. Yes, Mr. Rubongoya, I see you. Please go ahead. Yes, Mr. President, I can hear you loud and clear. Sure, go ahead. Much appreciated, Mr. President. The next question related to the background that you've ably laid out goes to David Lewis. David, are you able to speak? Much appreciated.
Yes, I can hear you and I'm able to speak, please.
Great. Please give us a picture of the current state of play in terms of the number of people abducted, the number of people detained, the torture victims that disappeared, and the dead. That's the update we are requesting from you. David, over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Andrew, and we appreciate everybody who has joined this space. Solidarity with Comrade Eddie Mutwe and other political prisoners. You know, between 2019 and 2021, the people who are documented are 2,134 persons who were abducted by the military regime. Many of these people were later released. Some, of course, as you know, were never traced up to today, to an extent that we still have 18 missing persons. These 18 missing persons have been missing, and we have the wife of one of them, Damlila John, on the space tonight. But the rest of these people largely
David,
were picked up off the streets, you know, taken in detention, in ungazetted places of detention. Many of them ended up before the unit disciplinary committees of UPDF, others before the division's court-martial, others before the general court-martial. Like I said, we still have 18 missing persons. But even after the election, we have recorded a total of 143 people who have so far been abducted. But these are people who we get to know about. You know, every time a person comes back from either CMI or wherever they hold them, they will tell you that they found so many other people there who we never get to know about. You know, Bright Mhumza the other day told us that he was taken to a room where there were more than 500 people. And he said majority of these are Muslims. You can't know where they're coming from. You talk to some of them, they say they've been in detention for, you know, 9 years, for 10 years, and that kind of thing. Now, those recently abducted, of course, we have Eddie Mutwe, we have Shakul Sentongo, Chagulanyi Najib, Sebude Kasim Paranyi Michael, who is also known as Infantry. So these 6 are still missing as we speak today. The number of those arrested since 2021, the ones our human rights desk has recorded, is 272. And we must draw a distinction between abductions and arrests. Abductions, we look at them to mean these, you know, these ones which are done completely outside the law, where people are, first of all, picked up, taken to places not gazetted by law, kept there longer than 48 hours. So those are the categories we look at as abductions. But those, the 272 I'm talking about, are those who have been taken through due process, arrested, taken through courts of law, charged, etc., etc. Maybe get out on bail, etc. As we speak, we still have over 100 people in detention, in different detention centers, and we always don't give a specific number because almost on a daily basis, you have new numbers being arrested and other people being released. So it always, the number is always changing, but as we know right now, we have slightly over 100 people who are in detention, including people at Chitalia, those who are at Luzira Upper Prison, Makshon Bay, and other prisons like Chitala, a prison in Impiji, and other places. The other day, our comrade was arrested in Chisoro, another one in Ruchiga, another one in Bushenyi, you remember Mbabazi Pase, and all that. So these are the kinds of cases I'm talking about. Now, I also wanted to mention that we still have close to 300 children who need help because either their parents are in prison, maybe their parents are missing, maybe their parents were killed, and of course those who have been tortured and damaged in one way or the other. So that is the situation I can give you. Like I said, and I want to appreciate our legal team. You can see that from the election, those who were able to document were over 2,000 people, and the legal team has been working very hard to secure bail, in some cases secure bond. Of course, some are always just dumped somewhere, somewhere in the swamp after 3 weeks. Right now, what the regime normally does is not even to give these people any form. When they abduct them and take them to CMI, subject them to torture and all that, when the time comes and they feel like releasing them, they just say, you go, without giving them any single document. And that started after the Masereka situation. You remember Masereka was our registrar in Kasese, and he was very, very badly tortured. And then they gave him a bond form, and the charge was subversive activities, which is even non-existent. And of course, we went to court. The case took so long, but eventually the court decided that case in favor of Masereka, of the victim. Of course, the court awarded very little money, 30 million shillings as compensation, but at least there was a declaration of the High Court clearly saying that he had been under the custody of CMI and they're the ones who tortured him. So from that time, they stopped giving any document to, for any victim to prove that this person is in their custody. And so that has been the situation with very, very many of our comrades who are picked from around the country, from Yumbe, from Arua, from Fort Porto, and other parts of the country. So, Andrew, that's the picture I can paint for you.
Okay, much appreciated. We will soon hear from lawyers like Benjamin Katana, who've done a splendid job insofar as the legal response is concerned. However, I have received a lot of feedback from the audience that they were not able to hear what Honorable Chagulanyi was saying. So, Mr. Chagulanyi, I'm going to request you to unmute, and unfortunately, you have to restate your first answer to the question that we posed. Yes. Okay. And sure. And I'll just check to see who can hear the president right now. If you heard what Honorable Chagulanyi said in the last few seconds, please give us a thumbs up. Okay, it appears there's a challenge. Yeah, I can hear you myself.
I can also
but,
hear.
Yeah, but the audience cannot.
And I can hear him as well. So I believe maybe many people are hearing him right now.
I'm actually.
Maybe you can mute a random person and find out if they can hear.
On my screen right now, there's a lot of thumbs down. People saying we can't hear him. Okay, let's do a mic check. Honorable Chagulanyi. If you can hear Honorable Chagulanyi, please give us a thumbs up. No, they can't.
nga bannayuganda
bwe bannamuwulira abakyukidde n'abasaba ebbanga bagenda okumala mu ggwanga baleme okuwandiika
has caused controversy by saying he abducted the bodyguard of the opposition leader Bobi Wine and has admitted he was being tortured. The National Unity Platform said Eddie Mutwe was kidnapped last week. The BBC's Will Ross has more.
It's no secret that opposing Uganda's governing party can be a risky choice. Rights groups have for decades accused President Yoweri Museveni of using the security forces and the courts to ensure the opposition has no chance at the polls. Now the president's son, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who's the head of the army, has made some extraordinary comments on social media. He admitted capturing opposition leader Bobi Wine's bodyguard, Eddie Mutwe, shaving his head, and said he planned to castrate him.
Our top story. Uganda's military chief Muhoozi Kainerugaba has caused controversy by saying he abducted the bodyguard of the opposition leader Bobi Wine and has admitted he was being tortured. The National Unity Platform said Eddie Mutwe was kidnapped last week. The BBC's Will Ross has more.
It's no secret that opposing Uganda's governing party can be a risky choice. Rights groups have for decades accused President Yoweri Museveni of using the security forces and the courts to ensure the opposition has no chance at the polls. Now the president's son, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who's the head of the army, has made some extraordinary comments on social media. He admitted capturing opposition leader Bobi Wine's bodyguard, Eddie Mutwe, shaving his head, and said he planned to castrate him.
Our top story. Uganda's military chief Muhoozi Kainerugaba has caused controversy by saying he abducted the bodyguard of the opposition leader Bobi Wine and has admitted he was being tortured. The National Unity Platform said Eddie Mutwe was kidnapped last week. The BBC's Will Ross has more.
It's no secret that opposing Uganda's governing party can be a risky choice. Rights groups have for decades accused President Yoweri Museveni of using the security forces and the courts to ensure the opposition has no chance at the polls. Now the president's son, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who's the head of the army, has made some extraordinary comments on social media. He admitted capturing opposition leader Bobi Wine's bodyguard, Eddie Mutwe, shaving his head, and said he planned to castrate him.
Our top story. Uganda's military chief Muhoozi Kainerugaba has caused controversy by saying he abducted the bodyguard of the opposition leader Bobi Wine and has admitted he was being tortured.
and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. anyone at all, and you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission okutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing
Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati akumusazeeko ebirevu now so what? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati akumusazeeko ebirevu now so what? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati akumusazeeko ebirevu now so what? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati akumusazeeko ebirevu now so what? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati akumusazeeko ebirevu now so what? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati akumusazeeko ebirevu now so what? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati akumusazeeko ebirevu now so what? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati akumusazeeko ebirevu now so what? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati akumusazeeko ebirevu now so what? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati akumusazeeko ebirevu now so what? Muhoz, Jeno, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula edi, n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. kati amusazeko ebirevu now so what? Muhozi, General, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie, n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati amusazeeko ebirevu now so what? Muhozi, General, like they call you, because you are. Respect yourself, respect your statements, respect everyone. Kuba woyambula Eddie, n'omuteeka mu kifaananyi ali bwereere omusazeeko ebirevu ready. Kati amusazeeko ebirevu now so what?
Could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga. So they abduct an individual and then come out and tell us that yes, we did in fact abduct this person. They proceed to give us visual proof of this person's state, clearly showing that they have been tortured, brutalized, and are being held against their will. They don't stop there, but then proceed to brag about torturing this person. Then they also ask, do you want a video proof? You see, and the scariest part is that this could be anyone. Anyone at all. And you don't even have to do anything for them to pick you up. It's like they're now making it their life's mission or kutujoga.
Alexa.
So they abduct an individual.
Calling Joby Duke's Alexa devices from Joby.
Listen.
Babe.
N'obuuza Yoweri Museveni nti ekyakutwala mu nsiko okutta abantu kyali kiki? Talina nsa gyakuwa.
Uganda ejjuddemu abeewulira ebyanyi bawamba abantu ate ne bakyewaaniramu. Omuganda n'agamba nti atatya musajja munne tawangaala, gwakitegedde gamba nti amiina.
N'obuuza Yoweri Museveni nti ekyakutwala mu nsiko okutta abantu kyali kiki? Talina nsa gyakuwa.
Uganda ejjuddemu abeewulira ebyanyi bawamba abantu ate ne bakyewaaniramu. Omuganda n'agamba nti atatya musajja munne tawangaala, gwakitegedde gamba nti amiina.
N'obuuza Yoweri Museveni nti ekyakutwala mu nsiko okutta abantu kyali kiki?
Hello, Karamaji. Why don't you take it on from there? Please, Marvin, make Karamaji a speaker. The criminals, of course, are targeting all these spaces we're starting, but I believe we should be able to continue on this
Do we know the
And
Karamaji's
Kalamaji is up there. Just turn him into a speaker.
okay, thank you.
Kalamaji and Judith Nalukwago.
Very well. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Kalamaji, I see you're a speaker. Could you please take it on from there?
Can you hear me now? I am speaking, David Lewis. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Very
I
well.
can hear you
Excellent.
too.
So we've
I hope you
lost.
can hear me.
Yeah, the shameless people have had us lose about 49 minutes out of the 90 that we had prepared to speak for. But we will nonetheless proceed in the spirit of citizen power or people power and make sure that this conversation is held, come hell or high waters. We will proceed with this conversation. I'd like to appreciate the resilience of our production team and you in the audience who have insisted to listen and join each space that we've held despite the disruptions. So instead of reverting to the conversation that we had earlier, I will give a summary in 1 minute. I will endeavor to be under 1 minute of what has been discussed in the previous attempts, and then we will get the rest of the questions that are pending posed and open the floor for the audience to join. As I said earlier, each speaker, each participant will have just 1 minute to share their thoughts, and then we'll get back to the panel. So we started off by asking what the human rights situation in the country is at the moment, and we got an update about the ongoing spate of abductions, the assaults, the disappearances, and extrajudicial killings. None of this is breaking news. It is always in our faces on social, mainstream, and print media. We very well know about this. And that answer was given by Honorable Chagulanyi. We then heard a response from David Lewis Rongoya regarding the numbers in terms of the abductees, the detainees, torture victims, the disappeared, and the dead. Cumulatively, those numbers amounted to over 2,000 people, with the timeline starting or stretching as far back as 2020. We have a number of people who have been detained both in gazetted and ungazetted locations without trial. We also have a legal team that has been handling these issues. And as I now invite one of the lead lawyers in this matter, Benjamin Katana, to give us a brief on what has been happening on the legal front, I request that he be made a speaker. We will also thereafter hear from family members, affected family members, as well as individuals who have borne the brunt of being held in torture chambers without trial, but fortunately have been released, albeit with grave injuries to themselves. So may we have Benjamin Katana address us on the issue pertaining to the legal front, what has gone on there. And after we hear from the affected family members or individuals, we will open the space to the public. Over to you
If
in
you will
production.
permit,
Yes.
if I may ask, if I may request.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for permitting my interjection. Just before the criminals interrupted our network, you had
Yes.
asked me to reiterate my answer since many people did not get to hear me. So
Yes, please.
with your permission, I could use just a minute or two.
Perfectly. Please use 3.
Thank you very much. Well, just to reassert it that we are without a doubt in a reign of terror. Leave alone what has been happening under closed doors and in concealment, where so many people have been abducted, killed. But this, at least, the regime has had the decency to conceal it, and you can give it to General Museveni. But what we have is a fully blown out reign of terror where General Museveni's son has absolute unchecked powers to abduct, torture, and kill people. This happened to the likes of Kakwenza and others. It happened to so many people that were personally tortured by Mohozi, but there was no, you know, acceptance by himself that is the one who did it. But we are in a time where he tortures our people and brags. Case in point is the ongoing torture of Eddie Mutwe, who's abducted. We used to hear that Idi Amin and Obote regimes were gross human rights abusers, but this we are seeing in real time. As we speak right now, our brother could be undergoing torture if he's still alive. This is a situation that calls for the attention and action of every Ugandan. And I must conclude by saying that we are not approaching this matter as the National Unity Platform alone, but as human beings, as Ugandans, because every Ugandan is at risk of this. I thought I should make it very clear. Thank you very much, Andrew.
Very well said, Honorable Chagulanyi. Thank you for that update. I wonder whether Lewis might have anything to add in that respect to the articulate brief that the president has made before we hear from Benjamin Katana. I request the production team once again to make Benjamin Katana a speaker so that we can hear from what has been going on the legal front.
Yeah, Comrade Karamaji, I'm failing to identify Comrade Katana. If you could request, that would be really good. Thank you.
Okay, Benjamin, if you can hear, please push the request button and my colleague in production will help put you up. Is my co-host Dr. Judith Nalukwago here? If she is, I'd
Yes, I
like.
am here.
Great, good to have you. So, okay. Benjamin has requested, please allow him. Okay, go ahead, Benjamin. What has happened on the legal front? Have we exhausted all options? What's the state of play? Over to you, Mr. Katana.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you very much, everyone who has joined this space, the solidarity space, with our brother Eddie Mutwe, who is in illegal detention and probably undergoing a lot of torture, just like the pictures we have seen suggest. The starting point is that we are dealing with a government that has descended into a criminal enterprise, and therefore rule of law is a far cry. We have had court orders ignored. The other day, the Human Rights Commission issued a release order in respect to our detained brother Eddie Mutwe, but to date it has been ignored by the army and particularly the Chief of Defense Forces, who has confessed as having him in his basement. Similarly, we have had so many court orders, habeas corpus orders, unconditional release orders ignored. Our approach has been that the only solution to oppression is resistance. And while I have been asked to speak as a lawyer, I would want to emphasize generally that this is not in respect to lawyers, but to everyone that is involved in this fight for the restoration of rule of law in our country. That 50 years ago, at the height of the operations of State Research Bureau and other agencies, Ugandans sat in different rooms to discuss how to resist and overcome a brutal and killer regime that the regime of the day had become. Today we are meeting here, and probably we should meet in several other places to make sure that we all put in effort to make sure that we bring an end to this brutal rule. So our approach has been to use the spaces available in courts of law and other agencies. In the case of Mutwe, we have filed a writ of habeas corpus. We are yet to get the order from court, just like we have filed for several other people. The Secretary General talked about the case of Masereka, but they talked about the case of the missing persons, talked about the various people who were abducted during the 2021 presidential elections, and several other Ugandans that have been illegally arrested, abducted, and detained since around 2019. Our approach has been to make sure that for every person whose information comes to our attention, we file applications in court for habeas corpus, for unconditional release, and things of that nature. Many times we have had cases drag on. Many times we have had cases not being fixed. Many times we have had court orders given and ignored, especially by the security forces, which is not strange considering the criminal enterprise that we are dealing with that the NRM government has become. My call to the people on this space is that we must organize. Those who are able to go to court like we are doing should go to court. Those who are able to organize in their different places of operation must organize so that we build pressure, disempower the regime so that it can give in to the demands of the people of Uganda. The courts of law we are doing, there are even efforts at international level. You remember the complaint we filed with the ICC and several others. So yes, the legal approaches, the approaches that are aimed at getting legal solutions are being undertaken, but these must be supplemented by political activism that will build the necessary pressure on the regime to even let the institutions like courts and Uganda Human Rights Commission and others that we have mentioned to be able to exercise their mandate under the constitution to give orders, but even when these orders have been given, to give them life, because it's one thing to have orders from courts of law, it's another for these orders to be meaningful. What does it help if a person being detained, even when an order is issued, this person, the order is ignored, the person remains in detention, the family has no idea where this person is, and then you have a court order. It more or less becomes useless. So we must be able to build sufficient pressure from wherever we are standing so that the regime can let these institutions be independent, exercise their mandate. When they issue orders, let these orders be respected so that the rights of the citizens of Uganda can be respected regardless of where they stand politically.
Great. We appreciate you, Benjamin, for that elaborate update. And I thank you also or I take note of you saying that this is beyond just a legal question. It is political. It requires the participation of citizens, even beyond what the laws and court processes come with. At this point, we'd like to put a human face to this discussion that we're having, and I will request in the following order, Shifra, who is with Eddie Mutwe's mother, to give her the mic so that she can share with us about the ordeal that the family is going through. We will then hear from Kavuma Jamshid, who is a previous victim of torture, who underwent a very grisly ordeal that was subjected to him. And then we'll hear from Judith, who's the wife to Damulira, who has been missing since 2020. We will also hear from Ajmaru, who is with the mother of Kasim Sebude, who was detained alongside Eddie Mutwe. So the first person we'd like to call and request our colleagues in production is Shifra, who is here. Please make Shifra a speaker so that we can hear from Eddie Mutwe's mother. And for the benefit of, do we have Shifra here?
Yeah, she's there. I'm trying to connect her, but
Are you physically proximate with her? Are you with? Are you where she is?
No, I'm not where she is. I'm trying to connect
Because
her
she could.
account, but
No, Shifra has requested to be a speaker, so they should just allow her. Shifra Lukundo. She has already requested to be a speaker.
Okay. There's thousands of requests, so I hope the production can sift through and find Shifra. Soon as that happens.
Okay, she is a speaker now.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Shifra. Yes.
I'm with Eddie Mutwe's mother, but she's requesting that she speaks in Luganda.
It's okay.
Tewali
Mama
buzibu
webale
sawa
nnyo
z'oluzungu
okujja.
zaweddeko.
Webale nnyo okujja ku lukungaana luno. Tunyolwa wamu naawe era bw'olaba abantu abali ku lukungaana buno bali mu 10 z'abantu abali mu Uganda ne mu nsi endala. Twagala okuwulira kiki kye muyiseemu nga family ya munnaffe mukulu Edward Ssebuufu era nekyoyagala abannayuganda n'abalala batuuliza bategeere ebiruubirirwa byo ngeri gy'olaba embeera gye tulimu ffenna nga bannayuganda naddala mmwe ab'enju ya Ssebuufu Eddie. Maama tukwaniriza, genda mu maaso.
Kale ssebo neyanzizza mwenna abali ku mukutu guno. Okuva Eddie bwe yakwatibwa 27 weeks 2 ng'emabega nali ku kitanda nga ndi mulwadde era nga yanzijanjaba n'abaana bange abamu. Then nali naakamala okutereeramu katono ngenda okuwulira omwana wange omu nankubira essimu ekiro nambuuza, maama oli bulungi? Nze ndi bulungi. Obulwadde buli butya? Nze waliwo eddagala lyenjagala lyessiina. Enkya tujja kujja tuligule. Yali agenda kumbuulira kulaba oba nina kyemmanyi. In fact nali siina kyemmanyi. Kati bwe nakeera ku makya ngenda okuteekako kiti ngenda okugenda ku Facebook nga ndaba Lumbu yayogera ngamba Eddie Mutwe yawambiddwa nga ndowooza oba bya bulimba. Nenziramu nensoma ngenda okubikula buli wamu omutima ne gunzigwamu. Nenkubira omwana wange nemugamba Martha wabadde oyagala kuŋŋamba bya Eddie? Naŋŋamba ye maama naye nadde saagala kutiisa nga njagala osooke weebaka okere ku makya otegeere nga pressure erinza okulinnya. In fact era yalinnya. Naye tusaba omwami Muhoozi alina omwana wange atuwa omwana waffe. Omwana waffe tumwagala. N'abalala bonna abasibiddwa abatalina musango tufune obwenkanya at least kale amutwale mu kooti waba alina kye yakola oba omusango gwonna bamuvunaane tumanye nti ali mu kkomera gindi tusobola omulabako. Naye tetumulabako opositinze ali bwereere tayambadde kumuswaza mu baana be n'ensi yonna okumulaba nti Eddie Mutwe afaanana bw'atyo. Omusajja yali alabika obulungi. Era tusaba n'obwombeefu bungi batuwa omwana waffe. Embeera gye tulimu si nnungi. Abaana jjukira mami ddaji waabwe yabadde maama ye taata. Yanoonya ekyokulya. Nange nze kennyini mmaze ebbanga kati weeks ziringa 3 sikola. Era yabadde ambeererawo okusinga. Bwekubira maama oli otya maama kutiki maama najja n'akulambula buli lwava okukola. Kati simulabako. Ne weebaka n'obuuza oba alidde oba talidde oba bamukuba oba bakola ki. N'abaana tuli wano ffenna tunyolwa buli mwana buli lwajja ewaffe n'obatunuulira nga bonna beeyonziseemu kyema nange nga sirina kyabbagamba. Tunyolerwa wamu ffenna. Gavumenti tusaba ota abaana baffe abazadde tukaaba. Si nze nzekka n'abalala waliwo abaafa waliwo abatamanyiddwa gye bali abalala bali mu kutulugunyizibwa tebalina misango. Ensi erigamba etya abantu abo abaana baabwe. Abaana b'abantu bano bali kulaba ati ne babagamba nti omulembe guno weegwatta kitaawo oba gwe gwatulugunya taata oba gwe gwamugyamu eriiso oba gwe gwamumenya emikono oba amagulu. Tuli tugamba tutya abaana era abaana bagenda kula batya nga katulinawo wano abaana aba 8 kale ngezezza ku bange batunula muli bawulira nga twogera bino bagamba ye omulembe guno gwe gukola gwe gwatulugunya taata waffe n'abaana abalala bwe batyo. Ensi esaasira abantu tunyolwa tukaaba bato omwana waffe.
Webale nnyo mami okwogera n'obuvumu obwo era byogedde byonna wano tulaba nga abantu bakkaanya naawe. For the benefit of those who are not fluent or conversant with Luganda, there are 5 bullet points that Mr. Eddie Sebufu's mum has made, which is 1, she got the news as she was recovering from an illness and has been disturbed throughout. Her blood pressure shot up, and she's also imploring the authorities, specifically General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who has openly confessed to detaining Mr. Sebufu in an ungazetted location, to have him arraigned in court if at all there is a charge for which there's any crime for which he is being held. She's also called that for all political detainees or prisoners to be released beyond just the fact of her son. She is distraught about the way in which he has been treated, the humiliating pictures that have been shared, the obvious mistreatment that he's been subjected to. She can't stop thinking about his situation and how he's doing, whether he's eaten, whether he's slept well, and all that. And finally, she notes with grave concern about how these children will grow up in a kind of world that is a complete opposite of what they've otherwise grown up to know. So next, we will hear from Kavuma Jamshid, who's also a previous victim, and I request production to have him up. And in the interest of time, as you make Kavuma Jamshid a speaker, also do that for Judith, Damira's wife. Yes, and then Kasim Sebude's mother will also speak to us before we come to the rest of the audience. So I'm requesting our colleagues in the back room to give the mic to Kavuma Jamshid. Yes, he's requested. His handle is, I believe that's...
At Jamshid Kavuma.
Yes.
I've sent him a request. I don't know whether he's seen it.
Jamshid Kavuma, please accept the request and speak to us. Okay, as Kavuma Jamshid does that, have you also sent a request to Judith?
No, she's not called Judith, but she's my neighbor, so I've sent the request. I think they will get in. It's Muchala Damulira. The husband disappeared in 2020. Up to now, he's never been seen. He was abducted, and she's going to speak through the account of Kakande Chirumira.
Okay, Kakande Chirumira, yes, you have the...
So he's already on. I don't know whether I can start.
Yes, I can see Kakande Chirumira. I can also see Kavuma Jamshid. Let's hear from Kakande Chirumira, and then we will proceed to hear from Jamshid. Kakande, over to you. Feel free to use, as the previous speaker has, to use a language of your convenience. Go ahead, Kakande. Kakande, over to you.
Kakande, please unmute. I think you're muted.
Okay, he has unmuted. Go ahead.
Okay, now you can speak.
nange nsangiddwa n'obuzibu bw'okubanga abantu abo batuwambirwa abantu baffe batuwambira abantu baffe naffe tusangiddwa nga naffe tulina obulumi.
Yes, Tukulira. Genda Maso.
Tusangiddwa nga tulina obulumi nga bw'owulya nti obulumi okutuwambiranga abantu baffe ate ne bamala ne babeegaana abantu baffe. Nze mukyala Ddamulira nina obuzibu bwe nasanga okukolebwa bwa papa wange.
Nyabo tukuwulira genda mu maaso otuyogera ku bawamba baawo.
Obuzibu bwange bwe nasanga okubala bawamba bba wange Ddamulira John Esalaama mukyala wenze njogera naye empise mu bulumi obutajja kugamba nti kino nakiri naye twebuuza abantu baffe bawambanga baaki naye ng'owamba omuntu.
Mama mukyala Ddamulira wali tunyonyodde kyekyaliyo bawe bamusanga bamutwala ddi n'ebirala.
Mukyala Ddamulira John bamujja wa Kisekka ku dduuka lye ne bamutwala 2022 emyaka 5 gigenda kuwera nga 21 Novemba. Omusajja okuva le bamutwala 2020
so si 2020
kati okuva le batwala Ddamulira ogwo omwaka gwe bamutwala mpaka olwaleero tetuddangamu kulaba Ddamulira. Tutuuse mu makooti ag'enjawulo mu makomera batugamba talabikako kyokka ate nga Museveni oyo gwolaba yasoma Ddamulira n'agamba nti amuyina ate bwe yamala yamwegaana ate ne bamala ne bavunika fayiro zaffe butambuza tebatubulira amazima g'ekiki ekituufu bakimanyi naye Museveni abantu baffe abatwala wa lwaki atubonyaabonya okutuuka ku kino? Musajja n'akuleka ddala otwala omuntu ng'omumanyi tinaye gw'otutte olawuza olumizza bameka olumizza famire omuntu omu oyo gwolaba yebadde empagi ya famire yonna abaana be maama we n'abalala n'embeera gye tuyitamu. Nze mukyala Ddamulira nina embeera gye mpitamu lwakuba nze nawulira nga sikyalina na bigambo bye njagala nakwogera kuba byanzigwako naye Museveni twakola ki? Abalala n'ogamba abantu 18 wabeegaana musajja gwe watutambuza paka tobayina ate obayina ate sibayina tibiki kati tukole tutuukirewo okutuuka ku kino makomera tebaliyo ate gwe wabatwala abasirikale bwe batwala abantu lwaki temutusasire ne mutuwa abantu baffe naffe tuba mu nnaku eno naye batuuka kubanga abaana bo bakusaba taata wammwe taata kati nafuuka maama ne taata lwaki mbeeramu eyo embeera gwe bumanyi kyempitamu naye olwokuba ofuluma mu nju ne bagamba nti ogenze naye nga nekyogenda okunoonya tokimanyi naye nga abaana bo abamu batudde waka tebasoma ate n'okunanga kyekyo kulwala bikoze bitya lwaki Museveni otubonyaabonya lwaki totuwa abantu baffe? Musajja gwe tukwegayiridde tukaabye biweddeyo nagasangula naye ngajjako sikyalina gansangula okuleka gwe ng'okutte ku makya n'ogamba mukazi gwe nkwadde abantu maama w'omusajja oyo Ddamulira yalekeraawo okwogera ayogera ekintu kimu omwana wange omwana lwaki omukuntusa kweyo embeera nawe gwe musajja gwe tozaalanga toyina bantu toyina bazzukulu kiki otubonyaabonya okutuuka ku mbeera bweki? Musajja gwe Museveni tuyambe tuwa abantu baffe naye ng'okimanyi wafukamira ku makya nga maama wakuzaala nakuteeka ebweru kiki kyetwakola ekyo tusaasira abaana bo ne bakoma ne bakulisaayo kyokka nga bakulisaayo nakava tekalimu yadde emitwalo ekintu kyesiringi omutwalo ebintu obataddemu omugaati naye gwe musajja gwe tusaasire tukwegayiridde buno obulumi kubanga tulinga abazaala essaawa zino abali mu makomera bate n'abawambibwa bajjeeyo ate era nkwegayiridde abatalina musango batubajje mu makomera baleete mu kkooti bawozebwe. Naye nga mukazi wa ddala ddala yasindika abaana bakuze ne taata naye gwe olina eddala ddala ekisa musajja gwe kitotusaasira tuyita mu bulumi lwakuba totumanyi bwe tuli bubi tuli bubi kubanga sigwe Katonda sigwe Katonda. Katonda yateekawo abantu babiri n'agamba nti kibaawukanya kuba kufa naye ate gwe watwawukanya sigwe Katonda. Tetwajja kuteeba nti gwogere twawukanya kuba tutwagattibwa nga tumanyi nti munnange agenze naye n'amala lugambula nina balaga ki n'amala lusigalina nange bwe nalindaga nti bati bwonna mutambuddewo nange nti okunteekawo obumu tulwala tumunyabonyezebwa oye bannange Museveni nkwegayidde taata tuwa abantu baffe tusaba abali mu makomera munnange bate kale bo babalabako naye nabo bate bajje bawozebwe nefe ababuzibwawo emyaka 5 ddala omuntu wa munno.
Mama tunyolwa wamu naawe n'abaana bo olw'okubuzibwawo okwa baawo mwami Damulira John, era ndowooza abantu bonna bawulidde era tusuubira ne buno obubaka bujja kutuuka ku abo bekikwatako. Again, for the benefit of those who might not comprehend Luganda, this is John Damulira's wife. As you can probably tell, she is disconsolate and she has talked about the situation in which she's going through, including the fact that she is completely, going through indescribable heartache. She has to play the role of mother and father because her husband has been missing for close to 5 years now, having been picked up from his shop in Kampala and has never been seen again. She doesn't know anymore what to say or what answers to give to her children when they ask about their father. She's also said, rather concerningly, that one of her children has been affected by the withdrawal syndrome. That child only speaks a word or two and that's it, and does not talk. This withdrawal having been brought on by the disappearance of the father for close to 5 years now. Next, we have Kavuma Jamshid to share his personal experience as an abductee who was fortunate enough to make it out alive from the dungeons of the torture chambers, such as where Eddie Mutwe is being held. Jamshid, if you are here, please accept the mic and share with us. Jamshid Kavuma. Okay, go ahead. I see you. Please share. And like the others, feel free to speak in a language of your convenience.
Okay. Bannange oba mumpulira.
Stebo tukuwulira genda mu maaso tukulya bulungi nnyo.
Tukuwulira ssebo.
Genda mu maaso ssebo tukuwulira.
Netiwaaka entawaanya. Bannange neyanziza omukisa guno okunteekako wano. Sijja kwogera Luzungu kuba erinnya linnuma liyinza okugira. So kanjogere mu Luganda lwentegeera.
Oh dear. We have a challenge with Jamshid because he keeps coming on and going off. So I will line up as we wait for him to sort that glitch out. I will now ask Ajmaru, who is with the mother of Kasim Sepude, who was arrested alongside Eddie Mutwe. So Ajmaru, if you are here. To my co-host, Dr. Nalukwago,
I've tried to look for his hand, or I can't see it.
Okay, in that case...
I've looked for Jamal's hand, I can't see it. So I think probably if he's on, he can send a request, then I let him speak.
Ajmaru, if you are here, please send a request to speak and you will be allowed to do so. Okay, while we wait for Ajmaru to share, because those two will be the last people to speak before we hear from the audience, members of the audience. And as we get ready to do that, production is already okay. Kavuma, you are here. Katusaba oyitemu bwangu otuuse obubaka. Oh dear. Okay. For Jamshid, just so that his story is not lost in the weeds of this network challenge, I will request Benjamin, if he's still here, to share Jamshid's audio in a minute, so that we afford him the audience that he deserves, and then we will open the floor to the audience to share. Benjamin, if you may.
He seems muted.
Yeah, Benjamin, if you're speaking, you are muted.
Yes.
Please.
Yes, Andrew.
Yeah, we have Jamshid is having network connection issues. So as counsel, who I'm sure have handled this file amongst the numerous others that you've handled, you could give us a brief on Jamshid's ordeal. Thank you.
Yeah. Jamshid was brutally arrested and in fact shot in the leg at the time of arrest. He was held incommunicado for a number of days. Jamshid was brutally arrested and in fact shot in the leg at the time of arrest. He was held incommunicado at the time of arrest, and we applied for habeas corpus, but when the state was served, they produced him in court and charged him with malicious damage to the vehicle that the security personnel who came to arrest him were moving in. And the question, of course, was before the arrest, which offense had he committed? Because the offense with which he was charged, the allegation was that he committed it at the time they were trying to arrest him. Eventually, they did not pursue the case like it has been with the rest. And to give this proper context is that most of our people, most of our colleagues have been arrested on trumped-up charges. They are held for a number of days, eventually produced in court sometimes. And when they get bail, the matter never comes up for trial. 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road. Why? Because the state has no evidence and they are just holding them on trumped-up charges, basically for purposes of persecuting them. And Kavuma Jamshid's case is one of such cases of fabricated charges.
Sure. Thank you so much for that brief. Were we able to get the final speaker on the panel so that he can share as well? Kasim Sebude's mother, who is with Ajmaru. If you are here, please either request and then we can hear from you and move to the audience. We will select speakers, but before we do that, please note that you have exactly a minute. We have, yes, please, my colleague in production, go ahead.
No,
I
have we
cannot
opened?
see Ajmal's.
Yes, the producer, what?
Oh, sorry, I was just saying I cannot see the. Oh, I was saying I cannot see the hand. Also, I think we can go to the audience because I can't find the hand of Ajmal. I failed to get it, and he's also not sending a request. So to communicate with him.
Okay, this space has 7,507 people right now. my colleague, my co-host, will choose speakers from the audience, and I invite her to do so. But before that, I see a hand from our colleague in the back room. You have something to say?
No, you've opened up to the public, so I had a couple of questions. I don't know if I can go first for the 1 minute.
Or that were written to you, or your own questions?
My own questions.
Okay, great. Since you are in production, we will hear from you. Let's first have the rest of the audience share, and then we will come to you in production. I hope that's fine. Okay. Dr. Judith
Yes,
Nalukwago, please choose speakers. Sasi, you're saying something?
yeah. I was saying I'm seeing Jamshid back online. I know he has just disappeared, but he had briefly returned online. I also wanted to supplement on what Councillor Katana was saying earlier. Jamshid, for many who don't know, was actually at the scene when they were abducting Edim last Sunday, and he was. I thought he was going to come and give us a brief of what transpired that fateful evening. He might have given us a description of some of the faces that he saw, and one of those faces is a bulky gentleman. No offense meant. Is one of the bulky gentlemen that keeps following our president everywhere he goes, at home, at the headquarters in Kavule, and literally everywhere. So it's quite unfortunate that Jamshid is not here, but let me see if I can reach out to him. See what the issue is.
Actually, if it helps, I was just talking to Jamshid a while ago, and I could call him and ask him to speak through my phone, so he can be able to communicate with the rest of the masses here.
Sure, please.
Okay, allow me just a minute.
Okay, as
proceed.
Dr. Nalukwago lines up her choice of speakers, we have allocated 20 minutes to this slot, and if all of us stick to the 1 minute rule, we will be able to put in as many people, probably even more than 20, since we're using a minute each. Honorable Chagulanyi, is Jamshid ready to talk?
And
yes.
Jamshid now.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Jamshid kwoli ku line. Era abaliriza bulungi nnyo ssebo.
Kale kangende maaso. Bannange baganda bange mwenna abali wano mwebale kubeerawo, mwebale kukuŋŋaana mu bungi w'emuti ku nsonga y'abaganda baffe abawambibwa ne muganda waffe Eddie Mutwe, kuba eno ensonga ewomeddwamu omutwe nga ya Eddie Mutwe neyini. Kasooke ndowooza ntandikire ku nsonga zange nga nze we nawambibwa ennaku z'omwezi nga 5 Ogw'Okumu 2022. Nasangibwa Masanafu ku kifo bakiyita Gladiator Paradise. Abasajja we banzija najjira mu drone yali taxi, wabula ffe twali tumanyi nti taxi eya bulijjo ng'erimu ebikuubo bya taxi byennyini ng'eriko n'akatanda waggulu. Kati abasajja abo we bajja okunkamba, like nagezaako okudduka, kati bwe nali nziruka ne bamukuba essasi mu kugulu. Baali baagala kummenya kugulu, wabula okugulu tebaakola ki, tebaakumenya. So baamala okunkuba essasi ne bansika ne banteeka mu drone, omusaayi nga guyiika mungi, nga bansibye empingu ne baŋŋamba nti nyambulemu essaati ng'olwedde ndi ku mpingu nga ndi ku handicrafts, nziggyemu essaati ate gye mbansiba ku kugulu. Kati nga neebuuza essaati ngenda giggyamu ntya ng'ate olwedde ndi ku mpingu ndyoka ate ngisibe ku kugulu. Waliwo awo omu n'asumulula empingu nenzigyamu essaati nengisiba ku kugulu omusaayi guleme kuyiika mungi. So awo ne batubeezaawo. Waliwo ne bannange be bantwala nabo baalinga 3. Kati batuvuga mu drone ekiro ekyo tetutegeera na gye tulaga, naye wabula we twali tugenda, buli we twali tugenda tuyimirira. To cut the story short, nga bantuusa ku Sseemwayo Embuya, wadde nali simanyiyo obudde obwo, wabula we bantwalayo ne banteeka mu godown wansi eyo banteeka mu go down okkirira amadaala bw'oti eno waggulu omuntu akuumayo aba n'emmundu ng'agitunuzza wansi. Kati mu go down bw'oba okkirira kuliko akuuma bwe kati kaliko empingu zisimbye layini. Kati ezo empingu abantu abasinga like we bakutuusa ng'oli mulamu nga tolinga nze abakubiddwa essasi mu kugulu oba ng'osobola okuyimirira obulungi basobola okusiba ku mpingu ezo n'obeerako ennaku nga 3 emisana n'ekiro. We kuba kufuka ofuka awo ebbaketi bagikuleetera awo ofuka. Okulya emmere ogiriisa mimwa essuwaani bagikwata bukwasi n'oliisa emimwa ng'oli ku mpingu waggulu. Ne kakati baŋŋamba waliwo n'omuntu omu eyafiirako kweza empingo. Kati nga bannyingiza eyo munda mu basement. Bwe nayingira mu basement eyo mu go down waliyo abasibe. Abasibe bo gye bali bangi. Naye mainly kye nasinga okulaba waliyo abasiraamu. Abasiraamu bo bangi bulala. Oyinza okugamba eri muzikiti. Eno gavumenti simanyi lwaki ewalana nnyo abasiraamu. Ewala n'obusiraamu. Ndowooza n'Abaganda mwe babatwalira kubanga ate oba musiraamu ng'oli Muganda kisukka. Kuba nali ndi awo nga naakamalayo ndowooza ennaku nga 3 ne wabaawo omusiraamu akolera awo Katwe ku ttaawo awo ettaawo eri wansi abantu gye batera okuyita. Yali atundira awo obuntu buno bucakala nga mutembeeyi. Ne bamuleeta naye ne bamuleeta nga talina musango gwonna. Kati bamutuuse eri bamubuuza ebibuuzo nga buli kye bamubuuza takimanyi. Ne bamugamba muyeekera. Baakuba musiraamu emiggo mbigere. Yagenda okudda nga takyasobola kulinnya nga yeekulula bwekuluzi ng'atambuza kabini. Bali bakuba. Kubanga ate bakyusaamu mu nkuba tebakyakuba bino bye mulaba ng'ebyakakwensa bye baamukuba. Kubanga bwe bakuba ebintu ng'ebyo baba bakutereka obeereyo ebbanga paka lw'obeera ng'atereddemu. Kubanga nange banteeka mu seemwayi naye nga babataddeko akazito kangi nga bawulira baagala okunta okunzijayo naye nga baŋŋamba weerwaneko okugulu okwo ekiwundu ekyo kikole kiwone. Tebaagala kuleeta muntu yenna ng'aliko ki obufune okumuta okumutisa ebweru. So nga mbeera eyo bwe bannangira bye basinga okukozesa bye bakubisa bakugamba gwe kaakati oli wano mugamba mulwanirira ggwanga. Gwe mulwanirira ali eri n'abaana be beeyagala olwo nga bagamba pulezidenti. Kati ate olumala nga bagamba nti oyo gwe mulwanirira ali kimu naffe. Kati n'obabuuza nti ate waaba kimu nammwe bw'aba ali nammwe nga mukola naye lwaki mubeera ate ffe mutukwata ffe abaagala kyali wammwe. Kyemugamba kyali wammwe temumwagaliza kubeera bulungi kubanga kyali wammwe. Kuba ffe we tumubaako tuba tulina omumuvimbisa era tumwagale nga bwe mwalikoze eki bwe mwali kyagadde. Kitegeeza we twagala kyali wammwe nammwe tuba tukoze eki tuba tubaagadde. Naye munnange ng'ekyo emiggo giba givuga eri bakuba emiggo wabaawo ejja breakfast lunch ne supper. Buli omu obudde bwe bwakubirwako emiggo era omuggo gunyooka ku seemwayo eyo. Era bwe nalabye ekifaananyi kya Eddie Mutwe nga kifulumye nalabye yenna nga bamukubye yenna wulubadde. Simanyi oba bamukubisizza biki kuba eyo feesi ya Eddie Mutwe tefaanana bw'etyo oli muganda wange mumanyi. Naye bamuggyeyo yenna wulubadde bw'ati ne mmanya kati ekiri eyo si kyangu. Twongere kumusabira twongere n'okusabira abalala abali mu seemwayo eyo nga naye ekiriyo si kirungi n'akamu ekibeera eyo. Abasajja batulugunya ebyaddala siriyasi.
Maybe Jamshid wandyagadde oba paintingira ku kifaananyi ku nkwata Eddie Mutwe gye baamukwata engeri gye waliwo. Apologies, moderator.
That's fine. That's fine, honorable. Go. Jamshid genda maaso tubuulire kuba waliwo nga bakwata nga bawamba Eddie Mutwe.
Olunaku olwo twali tugenze ku hakiika mu busiraamu ogwo omukolo guba gwa kusalira mwana. Buli mwana mu busiraamu bamusalira. Omuwala bamusalira embuzi emu, omulenzi bamusalira embuzi 2. Waliwo mukyali waffe oba mukwano gwaffe gwe tukuuma naye pulezidenti bamuyita Isima yatuyita ku mukolo ogwo. Ne tugenda tubeewo ng'abajulizi ku mukolo ng'asalira omwana we. Era naliyo nze Eddie Mutwe, Isima, Swale, gundi Honorable Namboze, Waiswa Mufumbiro, Honorable Waiswa Mufumbiro bonna baaliyo. N'abo abaana b'emukono baaliyo.
So kakati omukolo tukutambuza omukolo guwedde ssaawa ng'emu kawungeezi buli omu kati ayamuka kudda waka. Tuba tutambula awo tukyali awo mu lujja tunyumyanyumyamu, abamu batambula bambuka. Kati tuba abamu baba batambula bambuka ku kkubo. Edi Mutwe emmotoka ye yali agipakinze ku kkubo, ndowooza yali addayo kulinnya mmotoka ye. Kati tugenda okulaba abaana bakkirira emisinde, bakkirira eri wansi ku maka goono alinga ali ku lusozi, kati bwokkirira waliyo abantu. Kati ffe engeri gye tulina sirikale ba bulijjo tugamba kati ffe abatalina musango batukwatira ki? Kubanga okukola pate mu makaago si musango. Ne tugamba nammwe temutotiisatiisa, ebyo bye muliko byakusaaga. Kati tusigalawo, ffe twali tusigadde awo tuyimiridde, kati noonya ngamba Eddie oba aliwa, manyi oba akyali wali ewaayisimu, kumbe ye yayambuse. Kati tuba tukyali awo tugenda okulaba drone ejja, yasala omulundi gumu, kuba bwe twali tewaali wala n'ekkubo, yasala omulundi gumu ng'erimu amataala gaaka nnyo. We yagenda n'esiba omulundi gumu n'edda reverse n'eggala akakubo akaali kakkirira ku maka ga Isimu. Kati we yaggala akakubo ako ffe ne tudduka nga tukkirira ku kisaalu wansi, kumbe ye Eddie yabadde ayambuka ku mmotoka. Kati mu kwambuka ku mmotoka bagenda balaba drone ezo nga zizze, kuba drone zaali 3 nga waliwo ne double cabin n'akamotoka akatono. Akamotoka akatono ndowooza ke kaalimu oyo omwami. So kati gundi Eddie Mutwe abadduka abulawo n'abo abalenzi be yali nabo, okuli oyo Sebudde Kasimu gwe tuyita Kunta, mwana weeyo Mukono, waliwo n'omulala bamuyita Fred, ndowooza n'oyo omulala gwe bamukwata balinga 4. Kati baba bagenda we bati nga wabaawo omuntu omu ayita nti Eddie Mutwe, nga badduka nabo. Kati oyo yayita Eddie Mutwe yaleetera Eddie Mutwe obuzibu. We yamuyita abasirikale ne bamanya nti Eddie akola ki, ali eri, ne bagenda ne bazikookingirawo emmundu. Okimanyi bwe bazikookinga baba baagala kumutta. Musajja wattu naye nakkakkana ne bamutwala, naye tebamutwala bulungi, bamutwalira ddala mu mbeera embi. Kati ffe olwo tudduse tukkiridde ku kisaalu, era we natuukayo ku kisaalu nasooka ne nkubira pulezidenti essimu, naye ndowooza yali bize teyasobola, ne nkubira maama ne mutegeeza nti Eddie Mutwe bamulidde. Kati tugereyo ku kisaalu twamalayo ndowooza essaawa nga 2 tumala tukomawo nga abasajja bambuse. Tutuuka mu maka, mukyala wa Isima yali yasigaddewo n'abazadde baali basigaddewo mu maka. Kati we tudda nga omukyala atusigira ekifaananyi ng'atugamba waliwo omusajja azze wano abadde munene, alina ekirevu, ayambadde topi ya black n'ebyambalo by'ayambadde bya black, naye ye nga tali mu uniform, ali mu leeya, nga munenenene bw'ati. Era nze nakimanyirawo nti oyo muwummuza, kubanga ye yali akola ki, yatumanyi ffenna atumanyi kuba atutambulirako. Muza yatuuka ku maka ga Isima n'ababuuza, kati n'asooka ayimiriza gano amagye ge yali atambula nago agamuli emabega, abo abaali mu uniform, n'abagamba simama. Kati ye n'abeera ng'ayingira mu nnyumba, n'alingizaayo bw'ati. Agenda okulingizaayo, ndowooza yali akimye effengolo, Eddie gye baamulidde dda, ndowooza yali alowooza naffe tukyaliwo. So kati bwe yabagamba simama n'alingizaayo, n'amala ne beetooloola awo ennyumba, ne bamala ne batambula ne badda mu mmotoka zaabwe ne bakola ki, ne bagenda. Naye nga mission eyaliwo, naffe ndowooza baali baagala otutwalira abo, Katonda yataasa butaasa, awo we twawonera ffe. Bwekityo bwe kyali.
Over to you. Thank you, Chagulanyi, for your innovation in calling him and having him get on as he had a network issue. We appreciate him sharing as much. Again, this is the final speaker from the panel, and so I will briefly translate, and this time we'll go to the audience. Jamshid was abducted. He told us about his ordeal. He was abducted in what has now come to be known as a drone, which is usually a minivan. The minivans that have been reconditioned to suit the purposes of abduction, made many stops along the way until he was detained in a place that he later got to know as the dreaded and infamous or notorious Chieftaincy of Military Intelligence Detention Centers, which is a detention center, which is a dungeon. Many people have complained or talked about being held here. He gave us a description of the basement or the dungeon in which people are held and said, if you've been brought in without any major injuries, you are immediately restrained using handcuffs and will spend up to 3 days on those restraints. Calls of nature are to be answered there. You will not be allowed to go somewhere to relieve yourself in a place of convenience. He also said some people have actually died there on those on those handcuffs. And also, quite disturbingly, that meals are delivered to you there. You have to eat using your mouth, like a dog or another animal would. You're not given the benefit of holding the food or picking it from a plate. The food is brought before you, and then you pick it up with your mouth in such humiliating conditions. He also noted that he observed a high number, disproportionately high number of Muslim detainees. Also talked about a man who was brought in without any particular charge, who was beaten terribly, and described one of the torture methods, which is hitting people under the feet. That is something that we repeatedly hear. He was hit under the feet, and that his own injury, his captors refused to release him until he got better, saying that they cannot release him with evident torture marks, as well as the bullet wound that he sustained when he was shot in the process of being abducted. It's a terrible ordeal that he went through, but that's essentially what he said. His final remarks were about how Eddie Mutwe was abducted, where they'd gone to attend an event for a child who was being named or some such social event. And that's when a drone, the one that I described earlier, came and out of which these armed operatives came, threatened them with guns and took Eddie Mutwe away. Finally, he makes mention of the presence of a notorious individual called Muhumuza, who is regularly seen trailing Honorable Chagulanyi and other party leaders and bodyguards of the leadership of the party. This gentleman was present at the scene and so evidently helped or at least took part in the process of abduction. Dr. Nalukwago, who is your first speaker from the audience? 1 minute.
I've given Dr. Morgan is going to be the first speaker, but strictly 1 minute. Once it clocks a minute, I switch you off. So be as brief as you can. In fact, time yourself. So unmute yourself, please.
I hope I use the 1 minute well. Greetings, everyone listening in. Mr. President, Honorable Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, fellow Ugandans that are listening in. I'm honored to speak to you on this virtual gathering. We are united in solidarity for our brother Edward Sabufu and all other victims of oppression in Uganda. Today we stand together not just for Eddie Mutwe, but for every Ugandan yearning for freedom, justice, and dignity from across the last 40 years. Edward Sebufu, who was abducted in Mukono by military men, is not an isolated act. It is part of the systematic campaign to silence, dissent, and crush the aspiration of we, the people of Uganda that are yearning for freedom. The chilling confirmation from Muhoozi, the Nepo baby, boasting of how he's holding Eddie in his basement, is a mock of rule of law, a mock to the people of it is a mockery to the people of Uganda, and it continues to expose the brutality that we have faced for at least for the 30 years ago. But let me say this clearly. They can detain us. Nepo baby, you can detain Eddie, but you can't detain the spirit of change that lives in us. His fight breathes through us.
I think your minute is up, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Nalukwago, is that correct?
I didn't use the minute, but okay. I'll land by reminding the people of Uganda, we know who our enemy is. Our enemy is not the Banyankole. Our enemy is not the Baganda. Our enemy, just like the president said the other day, is Mohozi and his power drunk father. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Morgan. Dr. Nalukwago, your next speaker from the audience. Dr. Nalukwago, who else are you giving the mic? Okay, if she's having trouble, I will request a handle that goes by the name The Good Girl at Pliam. Please unmute and go ahead.
Hello, good evening. Andrew, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead. You have a minute.
Well, thank you for accepting me and thank you for the minute. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. President. Well, since I only have 1 minute, I'll just, send my question direct to the president. I think we've cried long enough. I think so many of us here have cried every time these stories are repeated. We're listening and, our hearts are heavy and we feel like we've been on the lamentations for so long. So my question is, what is the next course of action? We need to know what we can do to help the situation because, recently the Uganda Human Rights Commission ordered for the release of Eddie. Everything was ignored. We've called, we've written, we've done everything that I think we've said whatever we have said for so long. I think it's time to do something more than just speaking, more than just listening into people crying. We've cried long enough. So, Mr. President, what else can we do? What is the next course of action?
Great.
Me and so many others feel we should do something about this. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Great, thank you. I will now request Dr. Daniel Kauma to share.
Yes, greetings everyone. I recognize our president and our party leadership. On behalf of the diaspora, I greet you all, and I want to use this platform to also repeat the call for the president that what we want to hear now is action. Action, and every diaspora member who is on this platform, I re-echo those sentiments that we need to do our part as a diaspora and hit the streets wherever we are. In the diaspora, we have more liberties, more freedom of speech in many of the territories. So I call on all of you, let's hit the streets, let's demonstrate, let's petition stakeholders to make sure that there's accountability for the regime. The question I have is probably the question many Ugandans have, and we have seen what our neighbors in Kenya have been able to do, where there seems to be more sensitization among the masses to draw the correlation between their plight, their suffering, and the leadership in power. I sense there's there are two things. One may be fear, two comfort among the Ugandan populace, where we seem to be either we have resigned or we are just fearful. If you look at the elections, almost about the section of the voters who turn up is decreasing. We saw what happened in Kawempe. So what more can be done in Uganda to sensitize the masses to realize that there's more that needs to be done to remove Museveni? Because I feel there's some form of comfort among the young people, and of course even the elites. So when you make a call that let's demonstrate, let's put pressure on our representatives, members of parliament, is it more of an issue of lack of sensitization? Is it an issue of fear? What more can we do as people in the struggle, not just NUP, but people in FDC, ANT, and others,
Thank you.
to make sure that we rally our troops together to dethrone Museveni? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kauma. Shamim Nambasa, you have requested. Dr. Shamim Nambasa, please accept the mic and go ahead. Okay, while that happens, there. Okay, if Shamim Nambasa is having challenges, Aiden Kalisa. And Kalisa. Okay, my co-host should have her mic returned so that we can do this together. Okay, Shamim, there you are. Go ahead. Shamim, you have the floor. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Andrew. Can you confirm that you can hear me loud and clear?
Yes, we can. You have a minute.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate everyone that is here. And Mr. President, good evening, and good evening to everyone. I just wanted to add my voice to what the good girl has said, Kavuma and everyone else. I think for a very long time, we have kept quiet, and then we see the dictator pushing us to the limits, but then we still do the same things over and over again, and it is very clear that it's only a fool that will do the same thing over and over expecting different results. I'm not saying that we are fools, but I'm saying that maybe it is time for us to change the guard. It is time for us to actually try different means. I think, and what many people here are asking for is what is next, what are we going to do next? So I think it is time that we actually did leave the comfort zones and started to hit the streets. We have seen it when, we said we were marching to parliament, the state was on panic. I think if we did have a sustained fight of the sort, then it would be clear that maybe then we can start to have some answers. I think the level of disrespect that we've been pushed to such extents that they actually come to the secretariat, to our headquarters, and block our events from going on. So it is time for us to actually take action and leave the comfort zones. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you. Justice Hunter, that's the name of the handle. You have a minute. Go ahead. Justice Hunter, the mic is yours. Go ahead.
Yes, thanks, Andrew, and everyone in this space who has shared the ordeal and the way and the status quo of the human rights temperature in Uganda. As Justice Hunter, I'm sick and tired of using the same talking points, because I think it is time for us to expedite our liberation from the captivity of this junta of despot Museveni. Because right now, Eddie Mutwe is counting on us not to be silent, but to act. So for me, I'm not going to ask a question, but I'm going to give a remedy. And this remedy can be done tomorrow. I implore our president, Chagulanyi Robert Sentamu, to call on all the MPs of NUP, including the councillors, plus the leader of opposition, Joe Senyonyi. Tomorrow, make a team and march to CMY. This is going to be a wake-up call to all Ugandans, to show them that these are the MPs who are willing and ready for the protest vote we're talking about. Because protest vote has 3 phases. There is the pre-protest vote, there is the during protest vote, and the post-protest vote. So right now we're talking about the pre-protest vote. So we want to see those leaders who are not just rhetorical, but who are action-oriented. So if Despot Museveni arrests all of you, trust me, the international community is going to act. But if they arrest one person, they will not act. So His Excellency Chagulanyi Robert Sentamu, can you call on all our leaders, the councillors, MPs, leader of opposition? Tomorrow, you guys go to the front line and march. They cannot kill all of you. They cannot arrest all of you. And once they do that, it is going to attract international, community, and they will stand with Ugandans. Otherwise, if we're doing business as usual, that's what Museveni, of course, this is what he wants. In the end, we're going to, to just
Thank
let us
you.
in jail.
Thank you, Justice. A handle that goes by the name Margaret Natabi Nava. Please go ahead.
Thank you so
You
much.
guys, when you're done speaking, sorry, Natabi, when you're done speaking, I'm going to remove you as a speaker so that we create space for other people. You can
It's
continue.
okay. Thank you so much, Karamaji and Judith. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. President. My name is Natabi. Just like the rest of the speakers, I think the operators are even laughing at us at this moment because they've reached a level of stripping us naked, sharing our photos naked on media. And again, what we are doing is just speaking about it. Mr. President, last time I saw a post of you telling Ugandans the time, like course of action. I mean, we are just requesting, sir. We are just here ready. We are requesting, just come out and tell us, you know what, guys, we've given this government, it could be 10 hours, 24 hours, whatever. But beyond this, they've not released our people to the streets. Mr. President, sir, we are ready to do anything because they've done everything. We've looked Spark and they do everything. If they're capable of starting to share photos of people with families naked here on media, what more do we need before we get angry as Ugandans and we raise up to go and fight for our own justice? If we don't stand up and remain doing this, speaking here every day, every time, nothing is going to change. This government works on pressure. We've done protests and we've seen change. However much the change may not be that big, but let us go beyond speaking about it. Can you command us, please? And we go put it into action. Thank you so much.
Great. Anyama Alfred Berliner, you have the floor. 1 minute. If Berliner is not okay, go ahead, Berliner. To speak. I will invite. Okay.
I think he's on. He's on.
Okay, go ahead. I think our brother is having a challenge. Dr. Nalokwago, my screen is crowded. Please choose someone to speak.
Had chosen the Speaker of Nakawa.
Okay, what's
He had
his
raised
handle?
his hand. At Lyombia, Godfrey. I don't know whether he's now able to speak, unmute and speak, because he's a leader and we've had some people calling out leaders. What are they doing to rally the masses to fight for the rights of their fellow citizens? So I think it was right to give him an opportunity to tell us as a speaker of a whole area. Tell us something.
Sure, that's a direct question to you. Please tell us what you are doing. Please share his name again so that we can, the production can pick him.
It is at Godi Luyombia. Right Honorable Luyombia Godfrey, that's his handle. His username, but I think it's network issue.
Okay, while that happens, we could have Nandaula Helen. Nandaula Helen. Okay, Nandaula, you have the mic. Go ahead, please. 1 minute. And after Nandaula will be Mungadi. Nandaula, are you able to speak?
Yes.
Go ahead. 1 minute.
Thank you, Andrew, for the opportunity to speak. I would like to recognize the presence of our president and the party leadership and all other leaders and everybody that's on the call. What happened to Eddie Mutwe is a cycle that has, been happening to many of our colleagues. We've cried enough. We've suffered enough. And I think enough is enough. Mr. President, enough is enough. We are tired of being mocked. And our silence has enabled this, the junta to and his goons to be, to normalize the situation, to normalize torturing us and mocking us, the impunity, watching their followers play about, these actions. It is too much. Like everyone, like the previous speakers, we need leadership. We need leadership. We need guidance to do more than what we've done. We've done good, we are doing good, but it's not enough. It's not enough. This is exactly what they want to see. They
Thank
want us,
you.
they know we will lament, they know we will cry, and that's it. Mohoz tweeted and said, yes, I
Thank
have done
you.
it. What can you
Mm.
do about it? So please,
Thank you, Nandaula.
enough is enough. Thank you.
Great. W. Mungadi, you have the mic. Go ahead.
Well, thank you so much. I hope I can take 1 minute, and mine is just to.
Please do. I am timing you.
Mine is just to appeal to everyone, and public administration is multidisciplinary. You'd want to hear the position of the medical council, the medics. You want to hear the position of lawyers, because at the end of the day, you might need something like civil disobedience. It doesn't have to be violent only. It doesn't have to be young people taking on the streets only, but we have also, because Eddie Mutwe's picture has affected all of us psychologically. I'm speaking from the medical point of view. Besige's picture also came and affected us. So you need to get all these professional bodies coordinating and working together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's a speaker called the
Right.
hand.
Anyama is on.
Okay, Anyama, go ahead.
Can I confirm whether I'm being heard?
You are. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, comrades. Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues here. My comment is this. Muhozi say that what can you do? You can call for protest. And we can start the protest small. We can start with members of parliament walking to parliament. They can start by not using their vehicles. And that is how we can start the disobedience, among other civil disobedience that we can do. And I feel the moment we do this, maybe they will take an action. Maybe the father will finally wake up and talk to the son. Otherwise, the situation we are left in is not embarrassing, but we shall be remembered as one of the weak people who kept quiet when our colleagues are being suffocated in detention. Thank you.
Thank you for that impassioned plea. Let's hear from Marion. Marion, the handle is Big Bumper. Mariam Sonia B, if you could have her on. Mariam Sonia B. In the alternative,
Mariam.
we have 5 minutes left to this segment.
I think as she's preparing, then Right Honorable Luyembia can speak as she's preparing, because I cannot see her. Because he's on, at least he already has the microphone.
Okay, go ahead, Luyombia.
Yes, very good evening to everyone.
I want to salute all the Ugandans on this platform who have gathered to stand in solidarity with the victims of injustice and abductions, including Eddie Mutwe, who was recently abducted. And I, for one, want to salute the president, who already came out and urged Ugandans abroad and here at home to rise up and protest against this injustice of Museveni and the brutal son. I think it is now upon us, Ugandans, to come out because the president has given us a direction. There's no more of the command, president command us, do this and that. It is upon each one of us to rise up against these injustices. We as Nakawa are victims of abductions. Recently, in November 2020, we have two people who were abducted in Bugolobi market, and they are part of the missing 18, that is Lukwago Martin and Nalumoso Vincent. Ugandans need to know that such injustices are not happening to only people supporting NUP. You can be a victim anytime. So I only beseech each one of us to come out to rise up against these injustices, because the president himself has given us a way, a clear way on how we can address that. So it is upon each one of us. Let us do it within the law, just like recently we did on the anti-corruption protest at Parliament. Everyone, whether you're a
Thank
culture
you.
leader, you can rise up and say enough to this brutal regime.
Great. Joel Mirembe. Joel Mirembe. If Joel Mirembe is not here, Angela Asimwe. If Joel can't speak. And then, yes, my colleague in production, I'll give you the last word. Okay. Wounded Ugandan. Wounded Ugandan. Okay, Wounded Ugandan, you are among our final 3 or 4 speakers before we close this segment. You have a minute.
Is that me, sir?
That is you. This
Thank
is your
you.
handle.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, when you accepted the mic, I didn't hear you calling me. First of all, Mr. President, I have 1 minute. I'm sorry, I'm not going to recognize how much I appreciate your service. However, to the entire NUP leadership, I have some things I want to put across. Number one, we are going to the youth elections, and we don't have the youth registrars in all parts of Uganda. My dear NUP leaders, I want to inform you that the youth registrars are not in every part of Uganda. I don't know if you know about that. We need your say on that. Number two, I request your opinion on if the MPs going to parliament is still useful to Ugandans. We request that if MPs cannot go to parliament, they should go to their areas and mobilize for protesting and civil disobedience and educating Ugandans on what protest vote is. The last thing is there are areas in Uganda that are weak in opposing dictatorship, like Western Uganda, where people are even afraid of contesting. We request that you organize in such areas more activities so that we can empower the people in those regions to protest. What we do today will shape tomorrow. Ugandans, the president wrote on his X account, maybe he has not verbally mentioned it. We should rise up and protest. In
Great.
whichever way you understand those words, rise up and protest, please put them into action. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Angela Asimwe, taken from Wounded Ugandan and given to Angela Asimwe. Then Susan Namata, and my colleague in production will have the final word. Angela, you have a minute exactly.
I've given her
Angela, are you
microphone.
able to?
I don't know why she's not.
Yes, I'm able.
Go ahead, Angela.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Karamaji, the moderators, and all the speakers. Um, to me and everyone else, one of the things I want to emphasize is the continued unlawful detention of Eddie Mutwe and other political prisoners is very unconstitutional and unacceptable. What's worse is the public mockery and the psychological torment by Mohozi, who uses social media to privatize illegal detentions, undermining the rule of law. So since we've been denied to physically demonstrate, we the people of Uganda must organize and apply sustained digital civic pressure. Let's flood platforms like we've done today. Let's have coordinated posts. Let's tag international human rights bodies. Document each and everything that this guy is posting. Because make sure that we hold each and everyone accountable. The junta and his son, we need to personally hold them accountable under international law for aiding and abetting all these arbitrary detentions. We need to remind them and all other violators that power belongs to we, the people of Uganda, and the people we are watching, we are documenting, and we are ready to demand justice through every lawful channel, online, in court, and beyond Uganda's borders. Thank you so much.
They will say the same way. Susan Namata, to be followed by Action Now at Clinton Mirrors, and finally the new my colleague in production will have the final word. So Susan, you have 1 minute exactly.
Thank you so much, Karamaji. Thank you so much, the host. Thank you so much, Mr. President, and greetings to everyone. Mine is a concern and a comment at the same time. This is a rhetoric, it has been recurring since the 1960s, 1970s. We have since watched and seen human rights violation. But then my question is, how do we finally break this chain of human rights violation? How are you going to tell our generations, the generations to come, that we failed to break this disease, this cancer? Mine is more of a concern. We should wake up as a generation. We should finally put an end to this. We should finally put an end to this, to all these terrible actions against humanity. Now we have phones, we have the internet. We can use this internet. We can advertise everywhere. We can show the world that we are in terrible human rights violation happening in Uganda. I don't know how we are going to handle it, but we have to fight hard to end this so that the generations to come, we are not going to be accountable for just keeping quiet. I don't know, but we have to do something as a generation. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
the Wounded Ugandan, for emphasizing the youth elections. As we are heading to the protest vote, we need the youth to be behind us, and we need the youth to be involved in each and every step that is going on. Thank you so much, the host.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
Action Now at Clinton Mirrors. You are our second last.
The question is, someone detains you today and you plan for protest vote. Will he allow you? My point is, let everyone begin in the villages, move to trading centers, not weekend, not next weekend, but now, whether what time, no matter the time. I am saying that it's time to end the stupidity of Muhoza and Museveni for all this long term 40 years. This is not about Edmutwe. This should be about every person who have gone through persecution for 40 years. We should end this, no matter the blood that it will cost, no matter the time it will take. We must take action. The people who keep saying, President, we need your order, he already issued the order. You have to start everywhere you are. Coordinate with the people you have, wherever you are. It's not about you. You don't need to be in Kampala, anywhere, because this is a national issue, not a Kampala issue or Mbarara issue. So start everywhere you are, and tomorrow it's very good. Make sure you do not allow any person to be taken by police in any way. We are tired of this and has to come to the end. Members of parliament must step down. Me, I am saying, because they are not representing us if they cannot come in forefront. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Clinton. Nkunyinji, you have a minute. Nkunyinji, 1 minute. Okay, Nkunyinji appears to have a problem. My colleague
I
in...
don't know. I don't know if I'm now through.
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Well, I want to thank the president and all contributors. And as members of parliament, we associate ourselves fully with the position of the party, and we listen and take keen interest in all the concerns and voices from the public, the masses, and all of you globally. It's a calling for all of us to join hands and all efforts to ensure that we have a country where there is respect for the rule of law, human rights protection, democratic governance. Issues of kidnap now, as we speak about the kidnap, torture, and persecution of Eddie Mutwe and the other political prisoners. Just a few days ago, led by our leader of opposition, the Right Honorable Joel Senyonyi, we visited a number of political prisoners, and you could hear them narrating stories of torture, even amidst detention at prisons, which would be gazetted places. Still, there's detention. And equal as members of parliament, we have not been immune to the persecution. Just in Kawempe by-election, I was among those who were kidnapped in a drone. I was personally beaten at Wandegea police station before a police camera. So even would be gazetted places, there's persecution and torture. We must join our efforts. We associate ourselves and as Mwada and as a member of parliament and as well as a shadow minister. And equal on behalf of all members of parliament, we associate ourselves with the position of the president, the party, and listen and take an interest in all your concerns. We must join efforts and we commit to do so. I thank you.
Thank you, Nkunyinji. The final feedback from the floor, even though he's in production, will come from my colleague who's handling the back room. You have a minute as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Andrew. And Mr. President, I salute you, sir, and every leader from our secretariat. I want to appreciate Mr. Action. He pretty much spoke my words. Mr. President and the leaders, we have over 57 MPs, and out of maybe 57 MPs, about like say 10 of them dropped. But the rest of the members that we do have, they have their different constituencies. The problem that we have is that most of the organizations that we do them within the central. How about the other parts of the country where we have much influence? To me, if we do spread our hands and we're able to start something in Ajumani, something in Jinja, something in Mbali, something in Western Uganda, something in the South, and something in the Central, we spread and we break through. I believe we should be able. So let every member of parliament, they were elected by their people, the people that did trust them. So if they gave them that mandate, they should go back and start something. Through that, and also regarding the command that you made, you already made a command. Whoever is on here and is waiting for the president's command, the command was made. If you read up that command, we should be able to take on the action. So I'm calling upon everyone. Let us not relax. Let us go out and let us encourage people from the original places where we all come from so that they can start off something. Yeah, that is pretty much. The rest of the other things have been spoken. Thank you so much, sir. I salute you,
Spot on.
Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. It now falls on myself and Dr. Nalukwago to invite responses from the panel. And Honorable Chagulanyi, for your benefit, the questions revolve around, I will not restate them, they are about 4 broad areas. 1, youth elections and participation, readiness to engage in the process. Number 2, what actions forward should be taken in light of the what some people feel is the exhaustion of a template that perhaps is tired or has now become monotonous. We also have a question here for you from us as co-moderators here. What lessons should Ugandans draw from South Africa, Kenya, Sudan, Nigeria, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, where people power has surged to the fore against repressive regimes? And finally, for now, public discourse in Uganda is now rife with the divisive questions of ethnicity, social class, religion, which have been used for divisive purposes. What is your take on this delicate but very real issue? These questions fall largely on you, Honorable Chagulanyi, but your colleagues could come in and assist with responses. Over to you. I hate to be Stalinist about this and give you just 6 minutes to give a response. Honorable.
Thank you very much, Brother Andrew. I've listened keenly with pain to all the speakers, and I'll endeavor to fit within the time allocated to me. Largely, we tend to be shining a light on the plight most of the times, which makes us sound like crybabies. But before you solve a problem, it's important to repeatedly state it to the people so that they can understand that is the problem. I'm glad that everybody understands the problem, and now they're tired of speaking about the problem. They want a way forward. In my humble perspective, number one, this first step to a solution is to realize we must realize that we are on our own. We, the people of Uganda, are on our own. You've seen what is happening. You saw how people were moved, those who matter and those who think they don't matter. You've seen the response and attention given to it by our leaders, the cultural leaders, the religious leaders, and very unfortunately, we got also a tragedy that made us realize that actually these people are attentive on what's going on in the country. They just choose what to respond to. So we must realize that we are on our own. Having realized that we are on our own, we must unite. All of us that are affected by what's going on in our country, we must unite. This is not an NUP issue. We might be taking the lead, but everybody is a potential victim here. So we must unite against evil that affects all of us. Having united, then realize also the situation at play in Uganda while everybody is saying hit the streets tomorrow. NUP organize this and that. We must understand that unlike Kenya or Europe, I mean, unlike Europe or even Kenya here, where people have the little liberty to go to the street, our people are still healing from the disastrous memory of the 18th and 19th of November 2020, where the Museveni military unleashed terror on the people of Uganda and killed many. So people want to come out, but also are cautious in many ways. So my call is constant. Rise up and take action in your possible way, in your ability. Act in your numerous abilities. Those that can go to the streets, please do that as soon as now. Others that can protest in various ways, please go ahead right now. You saw that we were supposed to yesterday we were supposed to address a press, but the SFC surrounded our headquarters, blocking us from even addressing a press conference or even gathering. As we speak right now, you see that we had to be hosted by NUP diaspora because our internet is constantly being messed with. That is where we are. However, we must fight back in any possible way. Brothers and sisters, you don't need permission to fight back against evil. I hate to hear people ask me to give an order. You don't need my order. I'm your fellow victim. However, if I must remind you,
you have the permission and right. You don't need permission from anybody to fight back in any possible way. I must tell you, my brothers and my sisters, it is different ways that are going to do. Of course, I constantly say we do it non-violently, at least for us. Yes, Museveni and his friends picked guns. And if a group of young people today asked for my advice on that, I would say I cannot encourage you, but I cannot stop you either. This is time to fight for our liberty by any means necessary. We choose non-violence because we know that by doing that, we are denying Museveni justification to murder us. We've asked leaders to lead in different ways, and yes, they're doing it in different ways. I must also add that in Kenya, the Gen Z succeeded because they came off as leaderless. They they did not tag their protest to anybody. And they also did not have any particular place that the regime did not know where to stop them. So we must be fluid. We must do it different because the regime is convinced that when they surround Bobby Wine's home or surround the homes of those that they expect to lead the action, then they will thwart it. We have to do it different. I've told the people of Uganda that any one of you can be a Chagula and you know exactly what to do. Go ahead and do it. You will be followed because everybody has had enough of this regime. They won't know who to stop. Do what you can and do all you can. You can start small, but be sure that when you start where you are with what you are, it will go on and on and on, and they won't know how to stop you. I must also advise brothers and sisters not to fall into the trap of tribalism. Museveni and his regime have survived by dividing us along tribal lines, whereby if you are convinced that Museveni is looking out for your own tribe, then you're going to be blind to the impunity. You're going to be blind to the corruption until it kills you. So don't fall in the trap of corruption. I know many people are banning, especially those that are not Banyankole. But I want you, my brothers and sisters, to know that this is not Banyankole versus the rest of Uganda. This is the Museveni family against the rest of Ugandans. He is trying to put the good people of Ankole into harm's way by posing as if he is torturing on their behalf, as if he's killing on their behalf, as if he's stealing on their behalf. And we must resist that. We must resist that because unity is a weapon that he wants to snatch out of our hands. I want in the same breath to call upon my Banyankole brothers and sisters to disassociate themselves with this evil that Museveni's son is using to misrepresent you. Please disassociate with that tribalism because that's not who you are. I want to call upon the elders, the leaders, religious and traditional leaders, to raise their voice in such a sensitive time. And I don't know, I know we have brothers and sisters that are online here. I don't know, Andrew, if you will allow me to read to brief this in Luganda just for our local people down here.
Please go ahead.
Yes, neyanza sebo neyanzege manyi nti tulinako baganda baffe bangi nnyo jamushidi tankubye kaama naye manyi kijamukolera bwe mbiddamu mu Luganda ne mbitaanya ne ŋŋamba otusinkana ku mikutu nga gino ne twogera ku bizibu byaffe ebiseera ebimu abantu ne bagamba tudda ku mikutu kaaba bizibu byaffe kwogera ku bizibu baagala solution. Kirungi nnyo nga tonnatandika kufuna ansa yakuddamu ekizibu n'okiddiŋŋana abantu ne bategeera ekizibu ekiri ate ne bakkiriza nti kizibu kyetaaga okutereeza. Kirungi nnyo nti kati buli munnansi alaba ekizibu ekiri. Ababadde tebannakiraba bakiraba kati gwe kibadde kitannatuukako kimutuuseeko. Ki kye tulina okukola? Siteepu esooka kwe kumanya nti tuli ku lwaffe. Mujja kukiraba baganda bange nti olunaku lwa leero bannayuganda muli ku lwammwe. Tonnaba kuwulira maloboozi ge wandisuubidde nti ge galina okusitula okwogera ku nsonga eno eweebola. Kino tekibangawo, kiri unprecedented. Tekibangawo mu nsi yonna ti omuduumizi w'amagye akutte omuntu avuganya owa opposition nga talina musango gwonna gwakoze, naye kubanga tamwagala n'amutulugunya amagye ne gamwegana naye n'avaayo namukuba n'ekifaananyi ng'ali bwereere n'agamba wa wuno mukole kye mwagala. So ekyo kitulage nti tuli ku lwaffe. Bw'oba tonnaba kuwulira maloboozi mangi nnyo agava mu bakulembeze ab'eddiini n'ab'ennono then tumanye nti tuli ku lwaffe. Kitegeeza ki? Kitegeeza nti tulina okwegatta ffenna, tulina okwegatta kubanga okwegatta ge maanyi. Buli muntu yenna yenna ali mu bulabe, so tulina okwegatta. Era mu kwegatta kuno njagala nnyo tuleme kwegatta nti kino kibiina kya NUP, eno ensonga si ya NUP, eno ensonga ya buli munnayuganda yenna. Oba oli Muganda, oba oli Muteesa, oba oli Mukyoli, oba oli Munyankole, wenna kisobola okutuukako. Oba oli wa NUP oba toli, oba oli wa opposition oba toli, kisobola okutuukako. So eno ensonga tugitunulire nga bannayuganda ffenna ffenna. Ate n'ekirala bw'oba olabye ekikyamu teweetaaga lukusa lwa Kyagulanyi. Sikulimbira kugamba nti Kyagulanyi vaayo tulagire, balagire okulaba ebikyamu mbiraba. Then buli omu osobola okukola ky'osobola okukola era mu kikole. Tetulinga Kenya gy'osobola okuvaayo n'otandika kwekalakaasa mu ddembe kubanga bano abasajja mu butiitizi bwabwe babeera batutunuulidde. Naye tusobola okukozesa engeri zaffe ez'enjawulo eziri creative. Kitandikira ku internet ne kivaayo ne kidda ku street mu ngeri zonna ez'enjawulo. Musobola okukozesa engeri eziri creative kuno okwerwanako. Mbeera nkiddingana nti tetukozesa violence, wabula ate era sigamba nti abaagala okwerwanako mu ngeri yonna yonna okwetaasa ebikolobero ebibakolebwako timbagaane, buli mumu wa ddembe okulwanirira obulamu bwe. Ekya succeeding abantu b'e Kenya kubanga gavumenti yaabwe teyali ng'egenda gamba nti kati tugende ku kitebe ky'abano. No, abantu baasituka mu nsonda ez'enjawulo nga tebalina bwe babasitopinga. Ebiseera bingi nnyo gavumenti ya Mwami Museveni baba bamanyi bwe tusiibako ekitebe kya NUP nosibira ne Kyagulanyi ewuwe tuba tubistopinze. Ku mulundi guno temukitwala nga kya NUP wabula kya buli munnayuganda asobola okwerwanako mu ngeri ye. Musobola okutandika empola ne kigenda nga kikula ne kigenda nga kikula. Osobola okukola ky'oyina oba oli ku social media oba oli ku street wonna wonna w'oli mu Uganda n'okwetoola ebitundu eby'enjawulo byonna byonna. Buli omu n'akola ky'asobola. Naye njagala obbasaba baganda bange temugwa mu katego k'okubasosola mu mawanga kubanga Museveni buli wakola ebikolobero afuna baabyambaza. Kaakati mutabani wa Museveni ebikolobero bye ayagala byambaza Abanyankole. Luno si lutalo wakati w'Abanyankole n'amawanga amalala mu Uganda. Luno lutalo wakati wa Museveni, mutabani we ne bannayuganda bonna bonna. Era n'Abanyankole babonaabona nga bannayuganda abalala bonna bonna. Temukkiriza akakundi ak'abantu abatono okasiiga tribe yonna yonna kuba anoonya baakisiiga. Ayagala okuteekawo ekifaananyi nti bw'abba abba mu linnya ly'Abanyankole, bw'atemula atemula mu linnya ly'Abanyankole. Temukkiriza muntu yenna yenna baawula. Nsaba ne baganda baffe Abanyankole abalina emyoyo emirungi baveeyo beesambe ebikolobero Mwami Museveni ne mutabani we bye bakola. Mutabani wa Museveni bw'agamba nti ali mu kutulugunya abantu kubanga abayigiriza Lunyankole, abanga agezaako okuleeta mentality ya genocide, abanga agezaako okubambaza ebikolobero bye, abanga agezaako bakyayisa, mbasaba mu byesambi kubanga ensi bamanyi temuli bantu babi, muli bantu balungi. Temukkiriza muntu yenna basibako matugambuzi kubaliisango. Nsaba n'abakulu, abakulu ab'amadiini, abakulu ab'ennono ne ba elders, abasajja n'abakyala abakulu baveeyo batangaze ku nsonga eno eggwanga lyaffe lisigale nga liri wamu. Andrew, you asked me the lessons we learned from Sudan and Kenya. It was not easy to thwart because people came from different directions with different styles. They did not tag it to anybody, and that is why it succeeded. Don't tag this to me. Don't tag this to NUP. Tag it to the people. Let us see people power at work. Thank you very much, Andrew. Hopefully, I've been able to respond to all your questions.
Articulate and spot on. Thank you very much. And also for the translation. I will not provide a translation because you spoke in both languages. Abanyankore kanyisije mwahurra abagira ngo twejura amatu Museveni agakwenda kutusiba hamwe n'umutabani we kwenda kutujwanzya bikorwa byakora abantu abana-Uganda. So twena tukyejure twatandise hamwe na Uganda yona n'abateeso n'abarango bona twatandise hamwe twenunure nk'ihanga. Thank you very much. The final question will be posed by my wonderful co-moderator, Dr. Judith Nalukwago. Please pose that question. It is to be fielded by Honorable Chagulanyi, and we will bring this to a close thereafter.
All right, thank you so much. My president, I'm going to ask you the last question, and this is a question of hope. Hope to Ugandans. I would love you to paint a picture for the audience of the kind of a country you aspire to build, you as a presidential candidate. What do you aspire, the kind of a country you want the rest of the Ugandans to live in?
Thank you very much, Dr. Nalukwago. And before I answer the question, I want to salute you for the activism. I follow you online, you and many other leaders that we have. We have Dr. Morgan, we have Dr. Nambasa, we have Natabi, Margaret, and many of you young people. I must tell you, our generation is proud of you, and we derive so much hope from the works that you do. Now, the kind of Uganda that I envision is the exact Uganda that General Museveni talked about when he was my age. The past few days I've been watching General Museveni talking about the things that are happening, only that he talked about them in 1986. He one time said that he will not preside over a country where people get killed and nobody can tell who killed them. That is the Uganda I want. He said that even if it's your child, when somebody does wrong, somebody has to take responsibility. That's a video that I saw on TikTok just yesterday. Unfortunately, it's not happening now. He talked of a country where when people treat people wrong, especially soldiers, when soldiers torture people, kill people, they have to be punished promptly and adequately. That's the kind of Uganda I envision. Briefly, a Uganda where everybody is equal before and under the law, where institutions work and they perform their functions, where the military is guarding our borders and maintaining security for our country, where the police is guarding people and their property and is a police service, not a police force, where there is justice, justice is not for sale, where justice is served promptly and adequately, where hospitals work, where doctors like yourself are supposed to be in a hospital now treating patients and not on social media fighting for their space to work, where lawyers are given chance to serve and are not used to avert justice, where teachers get paid promptly and do their work, where hospitals work, where roads actually work, where in a Uganda under new leadership, you wouldn't have people have to die, senselessly. Generally, in a new Uganda, your poverty will only end in your house, just like in all other well-developed countries. But when you get out of your house, you will be as rich as any other Ugandan because the common good will be there. The roads will be well, the hospitals will be well, and all that. Unlike today in Uganda, where even if you're rich, your wealth only ends in your house. And when you get out, you're just as poor and as vulnerable as everybody else. We want a country that is not a laughing stock on the world stage, where we have a name, where our natural resources benefit our people, where men and women, boys and girls are equal and have equal opportunity, where opportunities are not given according to the shape of your nose or your second name, but where opportunities are given to everybody, where a citizen is judged by the content of their character, not who their father or their mother is. In a Uganda where everybody has dignity, everybody, where the law serves and protects all citizens equally. That's the kind of country that I envision. And I must tell you, Dr. Nalukwago and Karamaji, that Uganda is easy to achieve. We have Ugandans like yourselves here listening. I know any of you can be a very good leader. We have so many young people, qualified, talented, and patriotic young people that have had to leave our country because the country does not offer what they have. They are first world brains stuck in a third world country. When we take charge, we will get all those people and work together to lift our country to the levels that our country can get to. I know that is possible. We have the human resource, we have the natural resources, and we will get there. In brief, that's the kind of country I envision.
Yeah, very well said. Thank you for that response. It is soon to be breakfast in the Far East. I'd like to appreciate the Indians that I've seen on the space, Asians from other countries, Zimbabweans, South Africans, Kenyans, Tanzanians, Sudanese, Americans, Brazilians. Where it's late in a number of these countries. It's middle of the afternoon in Washington, where we have our colleague Dr. Kauma, who helped us hold this space alongside his colleague. It's middle of the night in Africa, approaching middle of the night in Africa, late evening in Johannesburg, Nairobi, and Kampala, and it's dinner time in most of Europe. Thank you. I'll give the final word to my colleague, Dr. Nalukwago, to bring this space to a close.
Thank you so much, everyone who has tuned in. Thank you so much, Mr. President, and the leadership of the party for giving us a space, for giving people a time to express themselves. I was so So those are the challenges. That is why you ask yourselves, why is this medical doctor in activism? But the regime has pushed us to get there.
Uganda than I have in my own country. I'm living in Southern Africa away from my country. I should be contributing to the development of jurisprudence and so on. So I guess there's
We wanted to read the tweets of some people, of some of the things people have tweeted, but it's a bit late. I don't know whether we should continue with that. I feel like
we're
it's a bit late.
yeah, it's late. We can't. We will probably in another space. Yeah, we're learning fewer platforms.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
One day this is going
Sure.
to be history, and we're going to see it in our lifetimes. So
Thank
don't
you very much.
despair. Keep the
Yeah, sure.
fire burn. Keep the fire burn.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.